Let me tell you about ProHealthConnect.com. It's transforming healthcare payments, providing retailers a seamless process for over-the-counter and healthy benefit programs. By connecting retailers, health plans, and payment processors, ProHealth Connect creates one powerful, unified network. They empower independent grocers and pharmacies to accept health benefit cards without changing how they do business. With over 10,000 locations nationwide, helping more than 1.3 million people access the care and nutrition they need. Go to ProHealthConnect.com.
Sid and Friends in the morning. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I'm sorry, Sid. Hi.
Oh, God, don't be sorry. You kidding me?
No, I'm wrapped up in these meetings on peace. And I said, it's between peace and Sid Rosenberg. And I said, let's take Rosenberg, okay? So.
Spencer Pratt appears all but poised to face off with Mayor Karen Bass in the November general election in L.A.
Eyewitness News reporter Kevin Ozebek continuing our team coverage from West L.A. with more on what Pratt had to say as he addressed the media. Kevin?
Well, Mark and Michelle, Spencer Pratt is a very unconventional candidate who's run a very unconventional campaign and had a very unconventional night tonight. Unlike the other candidates, his campaign watch party was very small and very private. But just a few moments ago, he stepped outside from his party and was just absolutely swarmed by both reporters as well as some of his supporters who were outside on the sidewalk hoping to get a glimpse of them. In fact, at one point, we even saw one of those supporters try to squeeze and get right up next to Spencer Pratt. Pratt's security guards then had to push him off. That man is now incredibly upset and going up and down the sidewalk, just kind of yelling his grievances. Just a few minutes ago, we did see Spencer Pratt leave the party. He's feeling very upbeat as he looks at these initial numbers. And several times when we did have a chance to speak to him, once he kind of left his party, he spoke about his faith several times. Take a listen.
I was going to accept whatever God's plan was tonight. I was going to be happy if I wasn't moving forward because I would have known that God didn't want me to be the mayor. But now I feel very confident that I am going to continue to work hard, learn everything I need to learn, build my teams, show all the experience I'm going to surround myself with, because that's a concern people have. Oh, he has no experience. I'm going to build that experience around, and we have 5 months to put the best team the city could ever dream of around me. So, and I got in this because as a citizen, I felt like my city failed myself, my neighbors, my family. And when I got on this mission now, I look around and the city's failing most of Los Angeles. And now I'm in all these communities and I'm hearing everyone's issues and problems.
Look, I think, Sid, here's what you ought to do. Watch what happens in Los Angeles. And if Spencer Pratt wins the mayor's race in Los Angeles, I want to see Sid Rosenberg hire the same social media guys and the same social media team that Spencer Pratt is using, and then go work for Sid Rosenberg, and then you run for mayor.
The Republican frontrunner for governor is eyeing a spot in the November runoff.
Eyewitness News reporter Bianca Bono live in Huntington Beach, where Steve Hilton spoke with supporters just a short time ago. Bianca?
Yeah, and when Steve Hilton came out and addressed this crowd, he said, "We're not there yet, but it is looking good." He made it clear to say this is not a declaration of victory, as he wants to wait until all of those election results are in, but certainly he is feeling optimistic. He made mention of his roots in the UK, but said he is now a proud American, calling running in this race the greatest honor of his life. He also made mention of former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, the last Republican to be elected governor in California. He said he got a congratulations from him. He then showed off his jacket, which he said was Arnold inspired, half American flag, half California state flag. Hilton then went on to lay out his vision, saying he believes California is the best place in the world, but it has lost the California dream. He believes he has a plan to bring that dream back. And he spoke directly to young voters. Take a listen.
And I see it in your eyes, the struggle of running a small business, the struggle for working people in California. Young people who don't see their future in California anymore, who think that they have to move to another state to have that dream. That's what we need to get back for California. The belief that we can offer that. And so to every young person watching in California, whether you voted for me or not tonight, I just want you to know that I see you, I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I know that we can do it.
Justin Murphy is the projected winner of the Republican primary. He will now take on Senator Cory Booker, a Democrat from New Jersey. And you can see Justin Murphy is from Burlington County. He's from Tabernacle. And you can see this pink. This is where he did well. And he really did very well in South Jersey because that is home for him. So he will now be competing statewide with Senator Cory Booker.
And NBC News Decision Desk has declared that in New Jersey's 12th Congressional District, Democrat Adam Hamawy has won his party's primary. This is the race to succeed the retiring Democrat Bonnie Watson Coleman. Well, this is a district that Kamala Harris carried by 23 points in 2024. So you would consider this, you would classify this as a safe Democratic seat in the general election. Hamawy will advance to that general election. As we said, he just ultimately here, there's a breadth to his support. These other candidates had very clear, pronounced, sharp geographic limits to their support. Hamawy's support spread out really across this district with that one exception there of Plainfield, where the mayor really kind of flexed his muscle. And Hamawy did particularly well with the election day voting.
This just in, former New York Congressman George Santos allegedly under investigation for insider trading. Sources tell the Associated Press the prediction site Kalshi flagged suspicious activity in a market about whether the former Republican lawmaker would attend the State of the Union address in February. Now, traders placed millions of dollars in bets after Santos said he would attend, but he never showed. Kalshi reportedly determined the account belonged to Santos. CBS News did reach out to Santos, who said, quote, "It's news to me and my legal team."
If the New York Knicks were to win a championship, Courtney, I got to tell you this, Cameron, I'm going to admit it. I might cry on national television. I might cry on that. I mean, when you talk about tears of joy, I'm telling you right now, I mean, legitimately, no brick from General Hospital, none of that. I'm talking about real, bona fide, justified tears. It will mean that much to me if the New York Knicks, and I'm speaking on behalf of so many New Yorkers, you will never Yankees winning, Mets winning, Jets, Giants. You will never see New York in the emotional state it will be in if the New York Knicks capture an NBA championship. It will be unlike anything you have seen in the city of New York ever.
You know, you'll often hear people say, "I don't see color. I'm colorblind to society." And of course, when they do that, they're speaking metaphorically. I don't see you as a black person. I don't see you as a white person. Well, what about when it's a purple person? Telling me you don't see color then? This is Sid Rosenberg. He is a New York City radio legend. He used to work at WFAN, the #1 sports talk radio station in the country. He then needed to resign after some substance abuse issues and a couple setbacks. But he is now back in full force on CBS radio in the morning with the #1 slot in this region, albeit at an older demographic, but he is killing it in the ratings. He's moved away from sports. Now he focuses on politics and specifically all the anti-Semitism going on in this world.
My advice is to be strong. I don't like it when I see Jewish people, moms and dads, they tell their kids, you can take your yarmulke off. Take it off. If you're nervous to walk in the streets, take your yarmulke off. I can't stand that. Or hide your Mogen David. You do that, they win. They'd almost rather see that than a dead body in the street of Tel Aviv. Trust me.
Well, the question is, how does someone like Sid pull off this epic radio comeback? And the answer is, he must have found the final Infinity Stone. He's either turned into Vision with that skin color and has the Mind Stone, or he's Jewish Thanos and he's found the final Infinity Stone and he's about to snap yarmulkes into existence. Somewhere there's a non-Jewish boy out there who just had a non-kosher meal who's like, "Sid, Mr. Rosenberg, I don't feel so good."
Start? I don't feel so good.
You're all right.
I don't know what's happening.
Anyway, as politically charged as Sid Rosenberg is, this has nothing to do with politics and everything to do with the fact that I've never seen a human look like this. This guy said it best. Not like I've never seen a person this color. I have just never seen this Pantone. I feel like a new primary color just dropped. It's green, blue, red, and this. Like, you can't get this color by mixing and matching.
I do believe we speak to a younger demographic than the rest of the shows on this station, or quite frankly, this genre. But be it for what it may, Kevin Clancy who just did that piece, is a very big deal at Barstool Sports. And all the kids love Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports. It's a huge deal. I guess it's KFC Barstool, Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC Barstool, where Kevin Clancy does his work. I've never met Kevin before. I've never spoken to Kevin before. He is clearly a fan and somewhat aware of my career. He did say that I'm killing it right now on CBS Radio, and CBS Radio is gone. That's why we've got the brand new Worldwide News Network on ABC, which is doing very well. So there he kind of screwed up. This is WABC Radio, not CBS. But he had the rest right. My days at WFAN, this really unpredictable, incredible rise that's happened here. But the whole purple thing is it's so stupid. You know, I spoke at the Jerusalem Post Monday. When I walk into any one of these places, everybody runs over because no matter where I am or who I'm with, I'm the most popular guy in the house. And almost everybody always says the same thing. Man, you are so much better looking in person, great tan, you look great. Everybody. So I do this speech up there, and I want to tell you that I spoke to the powers that be at the J-Post yesterday. That one little speech I did there, Noam, I should say, about the yarmulkes and hiding all your jewelry if you're Jewish. 26 million views in one day.
Wow.
That's not normal. You know, like people in this industry, they got 1 million or 2. Ben Shapiro gets about 30 million sometimes. 26 million views in one day. Nobody here gets close to that at this station, or most stations, even FAN. No one gets close. And to be honest, half of those are, thank God for Sid Rosenberg, he's a great Jewish fighter. The other half are, what's with their skin color? So what happened was the J-Post had some terrible lighting, so I do look a lot darker than I am in real life. If you see me this morning, I don't look purple. I'm tan. I look a lot better than all of you, a lot better than all of you. Nobody walks into a room that's pale and looks better than a bronze tan guy like me. Nobody. Now, you can laugh all you want, but it's true. It's not attractive, the pale, white, pasty look compared to a golden bronze guy like me. I walk in, people are like, my God, you look like $1 million. But the lighting was so bad on the stage that I do look kind of purple. And there are millions and millions of tweets, including this Kevin Clancy bit, that say, oh, my God, Jewish Thanos. So you know who started that, Noam, don't you?
Was that Jon Stewart?
Yes. So you may remember I was on television, Super Bowl Sunday that night, live. Brian Kilmeade invited me on his One Nation show, Super Bowl Sunday. And the clip I did there also went viral because I was calling out Bad Bunny. You guys remember that, because Bad Bunny, outside of saying, I think, God bless America twice, never spoke a lick of English. Nothing. And I still think that was a major blunder by the NFL. I know he's got a lot of fans, even on this floor. Bunch of young girls that work in our sales department, they love him. I don't care. First of all, he's not that good. I know he's got billions of fans. He's not that good. And second of all, at the Super Bowl, speak some English. So the whole thing went viral. But instead of talking about the actual content, because I was upset, Jon Stewart did exactly what Kevin Clancy did yesterday and talked about my tan. And it ended up being a very, very big deal. Jon Stewart, The Daily Show, this goes all the way back to February, Lewis, cut number 11. He was the first guy to refer to me, I guess, as Jewish Thanos. Cut number 11.
For a significant portion of Americans, everything that happens must uniformly be filtered through a particular MAGA-centric worldview and judged on how well it conforms to that traditional vision, which doesn't include knowing where the biblioteca is.
To get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America.
The majority of people in the audience had no idea what was being said.
Is it too much to ask to put it in English?
Not one word of English?
Yeah.
Not one word of English? One word!
Here's some English for you. Who put Thanos over here in the air fryer?
Shut up. Still funny.
Did Fox decide they needed an actual buffalo wing to comment on the game? Dude, seriously, we all like to get sun, but I mean, I'm no dermatologist, but be there tomorrow morning as early as you can be there. It's like the guy's couch is one of those chicken rotisseries. He's watching the game like, tell me if I miss anything. I've got like 10 of these. Seriously, how many glizzies do you gobble before you become one?
All right, so there it is. So now between Jon Stewart back in February of my Fox News appearance and the very, very popular Kevin Clancy from Barstool, I'm told that Suzanne Miller, our very own Suzanne Miller, does that great real estate podcast, is doing stuff with Barstool. His little piece yesterday on my Jerusalem Post appearance, the Sid Rosenberg tan, seems to be a big topic of discussion. When I tell you big topic, I'm not exaggerating, Lewis. Millions, not thousands. You know how people exaggerate. Even my friend Trump, he likes to exaggerate. I'm not exaggerating. Millions of people tweeting about that, and mostly because they don't want to talk about Jews or the content I spoke about. So instead of coming off anti-Semitic or anti-American, they talk about Sid's tan, and I just chalk it up to, thanks for paying attention. I think Clancy got a whole bunch of views on that one. Know him yesterday.
Well, you know, it's funny because that ended up in my feed, and I said, well, let me go watch. I hadn't actually seen the video.
The video is really funny. Like, the audio's fine,
right,
but it doesn't do it justice. The video is really funny. I even texted, while I DM'd him, I'm trying to get his number, Clancy, and I said, even though you kind of made fun of me, you were very complimentary, but even though you kind of made fun of me, I'm not going to lie to you, I laughed.
Yeah, well, I looked at the video and I was like, oh my God, you do look purple.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Well, the lighting is bad.
Yeah.
You're looking at me right now in real life. I'm not
no,
even
it's
close
not
to purple. I got a nice tan.
But there you look
I'm definitely
purple.
bronze. Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, have fun with that. And all I'm going to say to people like Jon Stewart and Clancy is keep talking about me. All right. Big races last night in California. And I don't know why Fox News is saying it's too close to call. It's not close. Last I checked, and we're going to have Elizabeth Barcohana. So Liz works in local politics in California. She's been on this show many, many times. And it turns out I bumped into her. Here's how I met her. I walked into Marquette University Thursday afternoon, the day of the night when President Trump, we nominated him as our presidential candidate at the RNC. Isn't that crazy? No. So I walk into this big RJC event, which my cousin Norm Coleman and my friend Matt Brooks run. I was not speaking that day. It was my first RJC meeting ever, and the first person I meet, well, the second. The first was Kohanim. The second was Elizabeth. And we got to talking. She said, yeah, I'm out in California. We're big fans of you out here, Sid. And so she's been on the show many times. She is still up. It is now 3:27 a.m. in California. She is still up. She's got 5 kids. 5 kids. But she's so into these races for mayor and governor that she's still up, and she's going to call in about 20 minutes. So I don't know how many folks on New York radio will get live coverage from Los Angeles circa 4 o'clock in the morning, but we will. So Liz is going to join us. But with Fox News saying it's too close, Spencer Pratt, who's in second, Karen Bass is going to win that. She's at about 35% right now. Spencer Pratt just below 31%. So he's going to come in second, but he's got like a 9-point lead over Rahman. Now, I know you got about 40% of the votes still to be counted, which that'll favor the Democrats, especially the mail-in stuff. But a 9-point lead the next morning, I don't think is all that close, no.
Well, I think some of it is just being really careful because they've
right,
been
they're just being
before.
careful. Right. But it's really over. I mean,
it seems like, it's just going to be the two of them in the fall.
That's it. So you've even got the New York Post this morning. Spencer Pratt is already talking about his strategy to win in November, and the team is going to put together. So I'm going to say it. Fox News won't do it yet. They got burnt by Arizona years ago. I'm going to say it. Karen Bass wins. Spencer Pratt comes in second. So KT McFarland, who we played in the Open, may be onto something, because I'm still getting, every day I'm getting texts and phone calls, please run for mayor. Danielle, if you're listening, I love you, I'm sorry. But every day I'm getting, please run for mayor. And you remember this 2 weeks ago on this program, KT McFarland, who has worked for 4 presidents, including President Trump. She's on Fox News about 5 times a week. She's on this show every Friday. And a few weeks ago, Lewis, she said this to me when she talked about the Spencer Pratt race. Louis, KT McFarland, cut number 3.
Look, I think, Sid, here's what you ought to do. Watch what happens in Los Angeles. And if Spencer Pratt wins the mayor's race in Los Angeles, I want to see Sid Rosenberg hire the same social media guys and the same social media team that Spencer Pratt is using, and then go work for Sid Rosenberg, and then you run for mayor.
All right, we'll take that into account. So Pratt is going to move on, it looks like, with Bass. They're saying the same thing about the governor's race, and that's even less close than the mayor's race. And here's the beautiful part. Now, Bass is the incumbent, and she's in first in the mayor's race. The governor in California right now is a schmuck named Gavin Newsom. Well, he's timed out. He can't run again. So even though the Democrats are the incumbent party, there will not be an incumbent candidate for governor. So the good news is Steve Hilton, endorsed early on by President Trump and us, he's winning. Now you got Becerra, who's a couple of points behind. Right now the numbers look like Hilton about 28%, Becerra about 25%. But Tom Steyer is in the teens. The billionaire, he's way behind. So I am 100% confident saying it's going to be Bass and Pratt for mayor. I'm even more confident saying it's going to be Hilton and Becerra for governor. So both Republicans, even though Pratt says I'm not a Republican, I'm for everybody, both Republicans in the races we wanted, with Hilton in the lead, which is really good, first time since Schwarzenegger, both Republicans are moving on.
Yeah, well, the only thing I'll say about the governor's race is the reason you're not seeing anybody call this thing yet is that there are so many mail-in votes that have need to be counted, and they take a long time to do. They verify for each ballot before they count it, and they think that a fair amount of Democrats held on to their ballots into the last minute because they didn't know who to vote for. So that number could change in the next couple of days as they count those mail-in ballots.
Okay, fair enough. This was Steve Hilton, though, again, who right now is in the lead, comfortably ahead of Tom Steyer and a few points ahead of the Democrat Becerra. Lewis, this is Steve Hilton, cut number 5 from California last night.
And I see it in your eyes, the struggle of running a small business, the struggle for working people in California. Young people who don't see their future in California anymore, who think that they have to move to another state to have that dream. That's what we need to get back for California. The belief that we can offer that. And so to every young person watching in California, whether you voted for me or not tonight, I just want you to know that I see you. I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I know that we can do it.
All right, so there you have it. It looks like both Pratt and Hilton are moving on. Let's get local. So my dear friend Mike Lawler tweeted about this yesterday, and I got to tell you, Mike, like every week I got something with Mike. A couple of weeks ago, we had the opportunity to see the president together up in Rockland County. That was an amazing day with Trump coming to New York, really just to endorse Mike Lawler, although he did endorse Bruce Blakeman, my man Bruce, on stage that day. By the way, talking about Bruce, calm down with Eric Adams, okay? I know there's money behind him. I know Bill Ackman likes him. My dear buddy Frank Carone, I love Frank. I know he's with him. And Todd Shapiro, he's not the guy you want to be running around town with. You talk about incumbents that may not win. It was so bad for Eric Adams as an incumbent, he had to drop out. He would have gotten a less percentage than Curtis Sliwa. And I told you guys that. I argued with the Bill Ackmans and Hank Sheinkopfs. He's going to join me today. All you people. I told you early on, he had nobody. He lost Republicans like me because I knew he was a phony, and he lost the Democrats because he was sucking up to President Trump. He still ran, whether you believe it or not, one of the most corrupt administrations in years, between the police department and all those folks around him, all the indictments. So you can scream Joe Biden and he got in trouble because he was against immigration. Stop. For 3 years, this guy was a nightmare. And I liked him. I liked him personally. I still like him personally. He was a terrible mayor. Terrible. It all came together in the final couple of months. Why? Because President Trump and Tom Homan and Jessica Tisch made life safer in New York. But this guy, all he did was suck up to illegals. He put veterans and Americans on park benches. Who knows about the money he took or not? I don't know. Doesn't matter. But this was a tinderbox. For 16 months after the war started in 2023, you couldn't find Eric Adams. How is anybody in this town going to make a legitimate excuse that the very first press conference held outside of Columbia University during the worst times, even before Mike Johnson and Nicole Maliotakis, was held by me? And yes, Mike Lawler showed up, and Bruce Blakeman and Michael Rappaport and Anthony D'Esposito, not the mayor. He was on his way to Rome. So if I'm Bruce Blakeman, I know you're listening, Bruce, or Chris Boyle will tell you, or Finton, or Peter King will join me later, I would not be mugging with Eric Adams all over town. Last I checked, he literally had to resign in shame because he had lost everybody in this city. And I know he's trying to make a comeback. He's tweeting bad things about Mamdani. He's marching in the Israel Day parade. He's got business deals with Jews all over the city. But I've been right about Eric Adams all along. I didn't need Curtis to tell me about Eric. I've been right about him all along. And I tried to befriend him, and I still don't dislike him. But my God, if I'm running for office in New York, I'm not walking around town with Eric Adams. So the Blakeman people need to get to Bruce. I know Bruce likes him. You know, I think I've shared this once before. Bruce actually put together a dinner. That place, Elio's, what is that, on 83rd and 2nd, Upper East Side? No, John and Margot like that place. Put together a dinner one Sunday night before Eric Adams even dropped out of the election. In an effort to improve the relationship between me and Eric, it was a 3-man dinner. Bruce, Sid, and Eric at this Italian restaurant on the Upper East Side. Rainy Sunday night. Last thing I wanted to do, and I love Bruce. Got to be up early for Monday morning. Eric never showed. He had an excuse about his son or some nonsense. Ended up having a great time with just Bruce. Me and Bruce had a great dinner. But I'd be very careful about how much I buddy up to the former mayor. He's not loved by the electorate. Is that fair to say?
Well, I understand why he might want to buddy up to them, because you can't win New York as a Republican unless you get a fair amount of Democrats who vote for you. So maybe the thought is...
He's not a Democrat.
Well, he
President
still is.
Trump saved... No, he's not. President Trump saved his life. So all of a sudden...
But he hasn't come out as a Republican.
It doesn't matter what he comes out as. Listen, the guy's a phony. Bottom line, Frank Morano just sent this. Also, once all the Adams cronies got indicted, you are finally left with competent people like Randy Mastro and Jessica Tisch. And that's all true. Randy Mastro never got the credit he deserved. I'm sorry. He did a great job alongside Rudy Giuliani, and he also helped save Eric Adams' city. I'm sorry. The Democrats, they don't own Eric Adams. They don't take ownership. And certainly Republicans like me, we don't take ownership. I told you this. I told you he had no chance. Nothing's changed. You think all of a sudden now Democrats, he wasn't even winning in the black community. You know that, right? No,
but making an appearance with him is not going to make or break anything. And maybe gets a couple votes one way or another.
Fine, but let's take it easy. Don't make it a habit. That's all I'm saying. Look, I'm not Bruce Blakeman's advisor, although Bruce told me before anybody else, even John, that he was running for governor. I knew first, just like I knew Andrew Cuomo was running for mayor first before anybody else. People in this building said to me, no, he's running for governor. No, I get it all first. That's not my job, but for some reason these people love me and trust me. So I've had 1,000 conversations with Bruce. We talk every day. just about every day. And I'm just going to tell them, to your point, yeah, one or two things, not a big deal, but don't make it a habit. That would be my advice. Don't make it a habit. Anyway, Lawler tweets yesterday about this New Jersey House Democrat candidate who was a defense witness. Listen to this, folks. In the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, a defense witness. He's Hassan Piker. That's who this guy is. And he won. And he won easily. He beat some Jewish guy named Cohen in New Jersey, 28-14, doubled his percent. His name is Adam Hamawy. He's a very dangerous guy. He's got ties to Al-Qaeda. And I agree with Mike Lawler. If this guy wins in November, this guy Hamawy, I want Congress to start an investigation that night. I am sick and tired of people like Mamdani and Hamawy, American politicians, let me change that. Politicians in America that either suck up to or have ties to terrorists. That's Mamdani, and that's this guy Hamawy. This guy should never win an election in America, but New Jersey, like New York, is becoming a mess. You got the governor. I've nicknamed her Mikey Muhammad Cheryl. She walks around like Ramadan is every day. How in a million years, Noam Laden, does a guy with Al-Qaeda, alleged Al-Qaeda ties, and a defense witness in a bombing in our building here in New York City, how does that guy win?
He's going to win. I can tell you because I grew up in this district. It covers Princeton and Trenton. Bonnie Watson Coleman is the congresswoman that's stepping down, and Republicans never win there. He will win in November. I don't even know if Republicans have somebody running against him. I have to go look and see. So he'll win. Even if they have somebody running against him, he'll win. It's not going to be close.
Well, Lawler's got to do what he said he would do on Twitter then. I'm going to be with Lawler this Saturday. I meant to say that, too. I was at his event in Rockland County when we saw the president a couple of weeks ago. So once a year, they have this kind of ritzy Rockland County Republican Club dinner. And all the big shots are there. Ed Day, I love Eddie Day. I love Eddie. And these other big shots. You know who shows up there, too? He lives up there is John McLaughlin, the amazing pollster. He's there. So they invite me every year, and me and Danielle go, my beautiful wife, and I speak, and I'm doing it again this year. That's coming up on Saturday, the 6th. The day before, going back to Prince, we played Purple Rain at the top of the show. The day before Prince's birthday, his birthday is Sunday, June the 7th, and if he didn't die 10 years ago, Prince would have been 68 years old this Sunday. But he's dead, though. At the end of that. All right, so Hamawy wins, and Lawler and Sid Rosenberg are furious, and we want a congressional investigation into this alleged terrorist tie as soon as he wins come November. My guy Alex Adan, who was on this show yesterday, he was running for Senate with the opportunity to represent the Republican Party against Cory Booker in November. That idiot. And Alex did not win, but I'm very, very proud of Alex and Jackie Tobacco and Victoria, all the people around his campaign. He ended up getting 27% of the vote. That is not bad. It really isn't. The guy that won, Justin Murphy, only beat him by 6 points. Murphy ended up with 33% of the vote. But I thought that's a pretty good run by Zidane, really is. But Murphy gets the win. So now we've got the showdown in November, the Republican Justin Murphy taking on Cory Booker. And to me, this is a David versus Goliath. Does this guy Murphy Noam have any chance?
I don't think so.
Me either. Yeah. No. Cory Booker, to me, is kind of like AOC. They're never going to lose. And I know, listen, I've told Elizabeth Pipko, I was with her Monday, to run against AOC. She probably will. She can also probably get that Caroline Levitt job. President Trump loves Liz, loves her. She's a beautiful girl, former model. She can do that job, and she's very smart. But I think she's going to run, but she knows she's going to lose. She just wants the opportunity to get the message out there and, make Republicans aware that there is another choice. But people like AOC, Cory Booker, you can't beat them.
No, it's rare that a Republican wins any form of statewide office, governor, senator in New Jersey. It just doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Any other races in New Jersey that I missed?
There was one interesting race in Hunterdon County. That's where the Republican Congressman Tom Kaine Jr. is. And
they finally found that guy, right?
Yeah, well, we don't know what's going on with him. Unspecified illness, missing from Congress for months now. They haven't really told us a whole lot. He's going to have to talk about it because he's in a race now with this woman whose name is Rebecca Bennett. She's a former Navy helicopter pilot, and she won the Democratic primary in that district last night. So that's going to set up a pretty interesting race there. It covers Bedminster, where President Trump has his golf club.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
So is that it in terms of New Jersey?
Yeah. Well, Rob Menendez Jr. That's Menendez's.
His dad's in prison.
Yes, his dad. That's what I'm trying to
say. But
he
did win. Rob did win easily.
He did, and he was up against a guy named Musab Ali, who's very similar to our mayor, very anti-Israel.
Oh, good. So we got one. We got a win against one of these DSA psychos.
It wasn't even close last night.
And it looks like I said, Ramon is going to lose in that mayor race in California. So there are some DSA candidates that didn't win last night.
No.
Some good news there. I know that President Trump's governor endorsement was it Iowa?
Yeah, they
lost
that
one.
Defeat, yeah.
That's his first loss in weeks. He had won, I believe, like 30 consecutive races. Folks that he was endorsing between Indiana, Louisiana, obviously Kentucky, that asshole Thomas Massey. But he did suffer a loss in Iowa.
The mistake he may have made in Iowa is he only made the endorsement, I think, on Friday. I'm not sure why
he waited
so
too long. Yeah. So is that it in terms of the races for
now?
Those
are the biggest ones, yeah.
What did my friend, I just texted him, I'm trying to get him on live this morning. What did my friend George Santos do now?
So, the website Kalshi, right? The betting website.
They actually advertise on this show.
Oh, right.
So,
okay.
That's kind of like you can, like Polymarket, you can bet on a whole bunch of stuff and then, even races, even congressional races, Senate races, presidential races. And if it comes in, you get paid as if you took the Knicks tonight with 4.5 points and they beat the Spurs.
You can bet, like, is it going to rain in 10 minutes?
Right.
There's
everything.
Anything's possible. So one of the bets last February was whether George Santos would show up at the State of the Union.
And you have to actually preface this by saying that was a bet, would he show up? He had said he was going to go.
He did.
He was going to go.
And now we come to find out that maybe, and again, these are all allegations, that he may have had an account himself on Kalshi where he took that bet as well and bet that he wasn't going to be there. And the night of the State of the Union, he claimed he got stuck at some airport and wasn't able to make it to the State of the Union.
Right.
But then this one account was flagged by Kalshi, and they say that they think it has or is owned by George Santos, and that he was looking to make some buck on betting the fact that he wasn't going to be there.
Georgie.
Yeah. So.
Well, like I said, I texted him. Somebody went at me on Twitter yesterday. They go, I used to love Sid Rosenberg. I loved him. And this is even before this Kalshi story came out. But I gave up on him because he buddied up to George Santos. And I was going to write the guy back and curse him out. And then this story came out. So I've given George the opportunity. He did actually speak yesterday, George. He did give the Associated Press or somebody a quote.
He did. He said that until he got the phone call, and I don't know who the reporter was, it may have been AP, that he had not heard about this yet.
Right.
Which, either may be true with him or may not be true.
But I'll give him a chance on this show today. So it's still early, and if he texts me, then I'll have to cancel somebody else because it's too big a story not to cover that with George Santos. And he happens to love me, whatever that's worth. Anything else out there? Because I got to get to Elizabeth Barcohana. She's staying up in L.A. It's now 3:46 a.m. She's literally staying up to talk to me. So what else is out there?
We'll take one more minute. No ceasefire, of course, going on in Iran. There was more missile fire, in fact,
This
overnight.
is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I know my dear friend, the amazing Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he's going to be questioned on the Hill today at about 10 o'clock, I think it's Rubio. And I think Wayne Mullen will be there too. But this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen a ceasefire where every day, forget about once a week or once a month, every day they're firing at each other. So can we stop saying ceasefire? We can say that, it's limited and it's a lot less than it was, but it can't be a ceasefire if they're firing at each other, and they are every day. We are firing at Iran. It may be in self-defense. I'm sure it is. because I'm on President Trump's side every time. But whether it's in self-defense or not, if two sides are firing at each other, that's not a ceasefire.
No.
So why do we keep calling it that? We sound stupid.
Well, I guess it's better than it was before, where it was
say
a
that.
huge volley of
Say
missiles.
that, right. Say that, it has calmed down considerably and we're working our way towards no fire, but you can't call it a ceasefire when we're striking each other every day. It's common sense. We sound ridiculous. As the days continue with this Iran war, we sound silly. I know Larry Kudlow may disagree and others, but come on. It's not a ceasefire.
Yeah, there's no sign this is going to end anytime soon. Of course, Iran, one of the conditions they say for a ceasefire is that Israel stop firing at Hezbollah.
That's not going to happen because they're firing at us.
Well, and so yesterday after the President Trump said he had called Netanyahu and told him to stop it already, the missiles continued overnight again.
Yes. They're not listening, Hezbollah, so Israel fires back. Now, look. Like Alex Trayman told us from Jerusalem yesterday. We got folks in L.A., in Jerusalem. We don't mess around on this show. He said, listen, yes, do we hit back twice as hard as they hit us? Yes, we do. But it's just self-defense. Same thing with America. America, Iran, self-defense. Israel, Hezbollah, self-defense. What do you want the Israelis to do? Take Scud missiles time and time again like they did under Bush? Decades ago, that's not going to happen. Not with Bibi. Sorry, you sent something our way, we're going to punch you harder right across the face. And I would advise Israel to continue to do that. And I've also heard, talking to Levin, a few other people, that the story that came out where Trump cursed out Bibi was a little exaggerated.
No, actually, that's not true. Because Miranda Devine, you can bring her on, she had an interview with President Trump last night for her podcast.
Yes.
And he said, no, I did tell.
No, he did curse.
He cursed at he said he did curse at him. He said, stop this effing thing.
Right, he did curse.
So he confirmed a lot of the conversation was accurate.
A lot of it, yes.
Yeah.
But this guy, Barack, who was the first to report this, there's an issue with this guy anyway. You know that, right? He's had some errors in the past, let's just say that. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not saying Trump didn't curse at Bibi. He does all the time. He uses the F word with Bibi all the time. I'm not sure he said, this is why the world hates you. He may have. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The press always wants to make it seem like Trump and Bibi are on the outs. And regardless of this conversation, regardless of what Miranda says, what Trump says, none of that is true.
Well, in fact, that's what he said. He said, I had a tough conversation with the prime minister, but he told Miranda Devine we're still buddies and we're still working together.
There you go. Perfect. All right, Alec, call Miranda, get her on the show, too. I may have to do an extra hour today. I don't know. Sorry, Brian. But if I end up with Santos and Devine, I've already got like 6 amazing guests. Sit all day.
Miranda's on tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, she is?
But maybe we can get her on today.
Let's see what we can do, Justin, to Noam's point. She spoke to the president last night.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
I hear that Tunnel to Towers. We do it every other Wednesday. I love Frank Siller. Frank knows that. We're very close. So the tagline at the end is never forget. And we forgot. And we forgot. We forgot in this city how 24 plus years later you vote in an America-hating radical Islam jerk-off like Mamdani. And New Jersey forgot too. How in a million years do you vote in a guy named Hamawy, who was a defense witness for an alleged co-conspirator who bombed the World Trade Center and also allegedly has Al-Qaeda ties. So when you hear that tagline all morning long, you'll hear it 4 times today. We promise to never forget. Stephen Siller, God bless your soul, wherever you are. I'm apologizing because we forgot. Your brother didn't forget. Your sister didn't forget. Tunnel to Towers didn't forget. Whether it's the villages or the smart homes or paying off mortgages, they didn't forget. But way too many people that vote, Americans, forgot. That's sad. That really is sad. I don't want to bring people down, but come on. Come on, folks. Stop voting in these terrorist-loving, anti-American Losers. This guy Hamawy's a bad guy. I'm not sure he's as bad as Mamdani. I think Mamdani's the worst in the nation. You know, I hate Mamdani more every day. And yes, I use the word hate. If you're offended by that, I don't care. And yes, he wants us dead. If you're offended by that, Melissa Russo and the rest of you, I don't care. Come out and demonize the Intifada. Do that, and I'll stop. Until you do that, I'm not going to stop, because when you want to globalize the Intifada, that means you want Jews dead. So when I say Mamdani wants us dead, I've got the proof. What's your proof he doesn't? Because he said so? Because he smiles? I hate him. All right. We're going to take a break. We're going to go out to Elizabeth Barcohana. She's terrific on this show quite a bit. She's a big deal out in L.A. She is staying up. It is now 4 a.m. local time in Los Angeles to give us the latest on the mayor's race and governor's race in the state of California. Liz Barcohana live is next.
This is Sid on Sports. Oh, my goodness! Sponsored by Peerless Boilers on 77 WABC.
Justin Ellick here with your sports update, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a dealer near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built of boilers. Looking ahead to tonight. It's the biggest sports night here in New York City in a while, I guess you could say. 8:30 p.m. It's the Knicks out in San Antonio against the Spurs. Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Knicks heading in as 4.5-point road underdogs. First 2 games of the series will be out in San Antonio, with the Spurs having home court advantage. Out in Seattle, Nets fell 8-3 to the Mariners in the middle game of a 3-game interleague set, dropping the first 2 and the series in the process. New York tied it in the third on a 2-run homer by rookie Carson Benji. Added another in the 6th, with first multi-homer game of his young career. With the 2 losses, New York has fallen back into last place in the NL East. Up next for him, Freddie Peralta. Let me put that all together. Let me just smush that together. He'll get the start in this afternoon series finale, with New York trying to avoid being swept. First pitch from Seattle is scheduled for 3:40 p.m. In the Bronx, Yankees drop their series opener 9-4 against the visiting Cleveland Guardians. Paul Goldschmidt homered and knocked in all 4 runs for the Yanks, who lost for only the second time in 8 games. They played without slugger Aaron Judge, who has a bone bruise in his upper right rib that is causing pain in his right shoulder.
How bad is that? I saw something in the Post today that this may turn out to be a lot worse. I can get Randy Levine on the phone, but if that's bad, that's bad.
I mean, listen, historically, when it comes to his injuries, they usually start as a non-issue, and then they become an issue, and they linger.
And Stanton,
yeah. So, we're going to be watching this very closely. It's the first game he missed this season, so he's been obviously on the field every single day this year. Did have that testing on Monday and consulted with the team doctor yesterday, who then said he's day-to-day. We'll see if they want to put him on the IL or not, and they'll have to decide that, obviously, within the very, very near future. Up next for the Yankees, the ace Garrett Cole will get the start in tonight's middle game of this 3-game set, scheduled for 7:05 p.m. First pitch from Yankee Stadium. Out in Carolina on the ice, Stanley Cup final getting underway with Game 1. Golden Knights edging out the Hurricanes 5-4. They jump out to a 1-0 series lead there. That's your sports, sponsored by Pete Morgan and Peerless Boilers. Go to peerlessboilers.com to find a deal near you. Peerless Boilers, the world's best built boilers. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, so big happenings in California last night. So you guys know that I've got a bunch of folks in California, but my favorite, our girl, is Elizabeth Barcohana, who I met at the Republican Jewish Coalition dinner years and years ago in Wisconsin, right before President Trump was nominated as our presidential nominee. And she's terrific, Elizabeth. She called into this show about 2 weeks ago. So I texted her a little after 2 a.m. this morning, California time. I was not expecting to get a text back. Literally 2 seconds later, she texted me back. I said, did Steve Hilton win? That was my way of making sure she was still awake. So here she is, just after 3 a.m. locally in Los Angeles, to help us with what's going on in California, the great Elizabeth Barcohana. Liz, I don't know if you are representative of a lot of Californians, but you are still up in the middle of the night. Would you say that a lot of your friends and people that you talk to are doing the same thing?
I think little by little everybody's been going to sleep, but I think some of us are still up.
It is a big deal. That's how big it is. That after 3 o'clock in the morning, some of you folks, including you, Elizabeth, are still up. And look, we wanted the same thing here. We wanted Spencer Pratt to make it to the runoff for the mayor's race. We wanted Steve Hilton to make it to the runoff for the governor's race. And it looks like both of those things are going to happen. Now, all the votes are not in yet. They're about 60% counted. But it looks like both Pratt and Hilton are in great shape to move to November, yes?
Yes, that's what we're seeing. So in the mayor's race, it's a nonpartisan race, which means that if Karen Bass had gotten a majority of the vote tonight, then she would have won and there would have been no runoff in November. So going up against an incumbent is very difficult, and so it's a great result that Spencer was able to force a runoff. And part of that also was because Nithya Raman, who is the DSA progressive council member that we have in the city council in LA, she ended up challenging Bass at the last minute and ended up splitting the vote on the left, and that also contributed to us having a runoff now.
It looks like a solid second-place finish here for Spencer Pratt. In fact, in today's New York Post, out early this morning, just after 5 a.m., he's already talking about his strategy to beat Karen Bass come November. So it looks like it will be, in fact, the incumbent Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt. The governor's race also, looking at these numbers, about 60% in, Elizabeth, and you're out there again. Looks like Tom Steyer is in a distant third. So Becerra and Steve Hilton, that looks like the big matchup coming up in November, yes?
Yes. So the big headline out of the governor's race is this is the first time in 20 years that a Republican has finished first in the governor's race. And so not all votes have been counted, so we still have a ways to go. But it's election night, and everyone went to bed with a Republican in first place, and that is really exciting. It means that change is, possible in California, that people are ready for a new direction. That right now, a majority of Californians believe that we're moving in the wrong direction. So, that opens up a path for, beating this one-party rule that we have here that has given us horrible results. Maybe now the voters are finally ready for change.
Oh, my God, I hope so. And, of course, you have to date back to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and his name kept coming up last night. Steve Hilton brought him up a bunch of times. He may have been wearing an Arnold jacket. I don't know, but that was the last time that a Republican won. And, for me back here in New York, and again, this is Elizabeth Barcohona. She's still up. She's been up all night watching these mayor and governor results. It's just after 3 a.m. in Los Angeles. She's a real trooper, this kid. This gives people like me hope in New York because we've got this DSA, Democrat, disgusting anti-Semitic mayor in Mamdani. The governor, Kathy Hochul, is really not much better. In fact, she's right there with him. So if, in fact, these results come back the way it looks like now and both Pratt and Hilton have a chance to win in November, and if one of those guys, if not both, actually wins in November, that gives places like New York, which is dying. It is dying a little bit of hope. So it's not just you guys out there, Liz. Maybe you guys will set the pace for the rest of the country.
I've been saying that all day, that California is going to set the tone going into the midterms. And, we looked at what happened to you guys in New York as a cautionary tale. We took very seriously our mayor's race, and we made sure that we kept out the DSA candidate, Nithya Raman, again, who at first we thought was like a Mamdani 2.0, and she is in her policies, but she does not have the personality or the charisma or the campaign that Mamdani was able to wage in New York. And the other difference is that you guys had Eric Adams, your incumbent, and the establishment in New York abandoned him. In California and in LA in particular, the establishment did not abandon Karen Bass. Gavin Newsom, supported her, and the party endorsed her, the unions endorsed her. So she had a lot of infrastructural support, but Spencer Pratt has the support of, the moms, the dog lovers, the business community, all kinds of different minority groups like the Hispanic community, the Korean community, the Jewish community. So there is a lot of enthusiasm for Spencer, and we saw it in the early vote in particular. There was an excitement to vote early in California, and especially among Republicans, that we had never seen before. So this is going to definitely reverberate around the nation, and you're going to see it in the headlines today.
Agreed. This is our good friend, Elizabeth Barcohana. She's terrific. She really is. And you see her on Fox News quite a bit, on this show quite a bit. Lovely young lady. All right. So, you mentioned Eric Adams. It's funny. He was hanging out with my friend Bruce Blakeman. He's running for governor here in New York yesterday. And I called Bruce to caution him because you're right. The party did abandon Eric. But, Eric did a lot of stuff that to this day is still very questionable. And at one point, he had nobody, no Republicans, no Democrats. I mean, it's very, very strange for an incumbent to drop out of the race. Now, he's going to blame Joe Biden, and, oh, my God, the DOJ came after me. That's a bunch of nonsense. The truth is, for the better part of 3 years after the war started in Israel and all the issues we had here, you had a corrupt police department, a corrupt administration. He blew it. He was bad. He was a terrible mayor. And I would caution Bruce Blakeman, be careful. I know he's got money people behind him, but be careful. He's not a popular guy. So you're right about Eric Adams. Let me get to the meat of this. I'll let you go to bed here, Elizabeth. Again, it's just after 3 a.m. in Los Angeles. I know you know Spencer Pratt. You have spent time with Pratt the last couple of weeks while he was campaigning. If you sat down with Spencer Pratt today, what would be your advice moving forward in his attempt to beat Karen Bass come November?
I have no notes for Spencer Pratt. I have never seen a politician. I mean, he's not a politician. That's part of why he's so successful. But I have never seen a politician as skilled as he is, especially when he deals with media. The people around him are incredibly talented. They have dealt with every issue flawlessly. I have no criticisms of him at all whatsoever. What we do need to focus on is competing with the Democrat machine's ground game, and that means ballot harvesting. And I think everybody is on the same page now about that. There has been a really big resistance to that. When Rick Caruso ran 4 years ago, he dedicated no resources to that. And even today, he voted today on Election Day, whereas Spencer Pratt voted like weeks ago by mail. These are systematic changes that need to be made in order for us to win elections. And it's not just that need this kind of reprogramming. It's everyone who doesn't really understand how the party machine works here. The unions they pay their union members to go out and canvass all the time, not just during the election. And then once they get to, the election, they've already knocked on that door that they're going to many times. And so the next time, when the ballots are out and they knock on the door and it's a familiar face and they say, hey, do you need help with your ballot? Can I help you return it for you? It's much easier for them to harvest ballots this way, and it's legal. And up until now, Republicans have not really developed a ground game for that, but that is now starting to change, and I'm very grateful for that. And I think Spencer Pratt and his campaign understand that as well, especially because we saw such a pathetic turnout in this primary election. He's losing right now. He's down by, 30,000 votes or something like that the last time I looked at it. 200,000 at least Republicans did not vote in this election. Okay. So just us alone could have helped to, push him over the edge. We certainly have the votes for him to have won outright, with a majority. So we have the votes. We're just not actually getting them in the ballot box. And that's where we fall down. just across the board. And the campaign definitely understands that, and that's what they're going to be building going into November.
As they should. You got to beat them at their own game. They do it. Stacey Abrams, they do it. So why not do what they do? It's legal. And beat them at their own game. And look, as you said, Spencer Pratt's in second. He's not the incumbent. Karen Bass is. She's in first. Now in the governor race, in the final 60 seconds, Elizabeth, Gavin Newsom, of course, is done. There is no incumbent. And Steve Hilton is in first. He's actually beating Becerra. So he would go in, I guess, Steve Hilton, even though he's a Republican. Unlike Spencer Pratt, who has to come back and beat Bass, Steve Hilton, I guess, would go in as the favorite come November, yes?
Well, let's see. There's still only 50% of the ballots have been counted, and so usually with the later drops, they favor Democrats because they're mail ballots usually that are getting counted later as the days go on. So we'll see if Steve Hilton still holds the lead. But as you say, there's no incumbent in terms of like Gavin Newsom is termed out, but the Democrats are the incumbent party. We have one party rule here in California. They have a supermajority in the legislature, and they've controlled, the executive for several terms now. And the results of that are a very poor quality of life. People are leaving California. We have highest home prices, highest taxes, highest gas prices, highest utility costs. Like the quality of life here is deteriorating significantly to the point where, if you're a grandparent, your children or your grandchildren can't afford to live here, and they're moving out of state, and it's breaking up families. And it's not the same place it was when I grew up. And now it is time, if you're ready for change, it is time to actually vote for change. And that means a new direction with a new party.
It's really that simple. Liz, I can't thank you enough. This is yeoman's work, folks. Again, just after 3 a.m. local time in Los Angeles, the great Elizabeth Barcohana has been up all night, keeping her eye on these races. Just like me, she lives out there, actually, not like me. And we wanted Spencer Pratt to win. Looks like he's made it. We wanted Steve Hilton to win. Looks like he did. Elizabeth, you sounded great this morning. Now go to bed. Get some sleep, and we'll talk later on this morning. This was a terrific job. I can't thank you enough. Thank you so much.
All right. Anytime, Sid. Have a good night.
Good
Bye-bye.
night, sweetheart. Take care. That's our good friend Elizabeth Barcohana out in Los Angeles, doing a great job for us. Man, do we appreciate that. Big morning still to come, of course, on this show. Brooke Rollins makes her debut. She got a whole bunch of road trips coming out. She's in charge of agriculture here in the United States. Peter King will be here. Brian Geltzeiler from NBA Radio on Sirius XM as we get set for Knicks and Spurs Game 1 later on tonight. 3 big hours about to come your way. It's the Wednesday edition of Sid and Friends in the morning. We'll talk to Geltz about the Knicks and Spurs and how exciting that the Knicks will have a chance to win their first NBA championship in 33 years, according to Kathy Hochul. Of course, it's 53 years, but Kathy seems to have a different memory of the NBA. She seems to think the Knicks won it in 93, you dumb biatch. One thing on Abdul Carter, too, now that O'Reilly brought it up, I was the first to cover that story, the very first. Why? I was there that day. I was right there when Jackson Dart introduced Trump, and I knew it would be an issue. I didn't know what giant player was going to be the guy. Turns out Abdul Carter is an effing asshole. That's what he is. Okay? And his rookie season last year, after being a first-round draft choice, was a monumental failure. I'm still waiting for Abdul Carter to make one play, one memorable big play. He missed meetings. He fell asleep in meetings. He was an issue. He was a big issue. Walked in like a prima donna. He's yet to make a play. So here's my advice to Abdul Carter, which I've said time and time again on Fox News, on video. Shut your stupid face and make a play on the football field, okay? We didn't bother you when you voted for Kamala Harris, which I got to tell you, Abdul, you moron, is 10 times more embarrassing than voting for President Trump. You voted for that giggling hyena, that moron who lost every single swing state, Kamala Harris. No one took you to task. Well, I am right now. You are a dumb moron. If I was the Giants, I'd trade your ass. You mean a heck of a lot less to my organization than my quarterback does, okay? You were so good on defense last year. We spent our first pick this year drafting another defensive player. How about that, Abdul Carter? You big-mouth jerk-off. Shut up. Shut up. If this team is going to get to a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl, you're not LT. It's going to be because of Jackson Dart, not you. So if I'm the Giants, I trade his ass. Do you know he's still mouthing off? Still. He doubled down 2 days ago. You'd have thought he would have come out and said, I'm sorry. No, he doubled down 2 days ago. He's a big mouth bitch. That's what he is. Brian Geltzeiler on the Knicks. He's coming up next.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
If the New York Knicks were to win a championship, Courtney, I got to tell you this, Cameron, I'm going to admit it. I might cry on national television. I might cry on that. I mean, when you talk about tears of joy, I'm telling you right now, I mean, legitimately, no brick from General Hospital, none of that. I'm talking about real, bona fide, justified tears. It will mean that much to me if the New York Knicks, and I'm speaking on behalf of so many New Yorkers, you will never see, Yankees winning, Mets winning, Jets, Giants. You will never see New York in the emotional state it will be in if the New York Knicks capture an NBA championship.
This would be huge. Ain't going to save the city. Mamdani is still the mayor, and ain't going to save the state. Doucheface Hochul is still the governor. But we'll go a long way in making New Yorkers happy. It all starts tonight in San Antonio, 27 years after the last time the Knicks made the finals, when ironically they suffered a loss to San Antonio and 5. Brian Geltzeiler was on my show down in Miami. Those 11 years, a lot. He's really fantastic, does NBA radio on Sirius XM, and he's back. Brian, it's great to talk to you again, buddy. How are you?
I'm great, Sid. It was a long time ago. I was on in Florida. When no one was putting me on the radio, you were putting me on the radio, dude. It is absolutely my pleasure to spend some time with you today on this incredibly successful show that you have.
Thank you, Brian. And you're great. You've built yourself a tremendous career, NBA. Everybody in those circles, they all know you. They all love you. A local guy, too, in New Jersey. And we kind of flipped the switch because most of the time I was talking to you down in Miami, it was about the big three, LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, and those guys did go to 4 consecutive NBA finals. They don't win them every year. They won 2 of them, but that was quite a time to be down in Miami.
It was fantastic, and really it was peak LeBron. LeBron has never been better than he was in those 4 years in Miami, and watching him and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh do what they did, and maybe the most incredible thing was that regular season 27-game win streak they had. They were able to do some things that just with the way the game has evolved, I don't know that we'll ever see again at this point in terms of how they were able to dominate, how they were able to stay healthy. The game has changed so much with the speed of the game and the pace and the tempo being much quicker. You're seeing guys sit games more. Guys are being injured a whole lot more frequently, and it was an incredible time, Sid, and something that I cherish.
You know what's funny? I was thinking about the Spurs today, and they had a great run, too, with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, David Robinson, the end of his career. And the engineer of that, the coach, was Greg Popovich. And just so you know, I hate Greg Popovich, obviously. All right. I love Trump. Trump's one of my best buddies. And you get this guy Popovich, who's right there with Steve Kerr and Golden State, even Stan Van Gundy, guys that are very public about their disdain for President Trump. I never understood why Popovich had to do that. So, yeah, he's a great coach, but I couldn't stand him. I got to tell you, Brian, if you ask the average guy on the street to tell you who's coaching San Antonio today, I think they'd have a hard time.
I would agree. It's Mitch Johnson is. I can't say he's an unheard of because keep in mind, Sid, his father played for the championship Seattle Supersonics team in the late '70s, John Johnson. So he did come up.
Oh, he was on that team with Jack Sikma, Gus Johnson, all those guys.
Yes, with Gus Williams, that group.
Gus Williams,
Freddie
right.
Brown.
Excuse me.
Yes, his dad, John Johnson, was on that team. So Mitch Johnson's got a basketball background. He brings some energy to this thing. He's a really good coach. And listen, there's some things on the sidelines that, he has good guys on the sidelines listening to him. Sean Sweeney, who just got the Orlando job as his associate head coach. He's got former Sixer coach Brett Brown there with him. But Mitch Johnson has injected an energy into this group that I think is very, very special. And San Antonio is tough up and down the line. The thing about San Antonio is, and maybe the experience factor rears its ugly head here, in this series for them. The fact that this is their first time here, they don't act like it. They don't play like it. They get in big spots. New Jersey's own Dylan Harper is at 20 years old. You can't believe, for Knicks fans that haven't seen him yet, you can't believe how composed and calm this kid is in big spots. Not only that, he's an incredible talent, and most teams, including the Knicks, don't have a player at that talent level coming off that bench.
Not only that, the Spurs may have the best player in the NBA. I mean, I think he's still young and he's still maturing, but Wembanyama, he may already be there. If he's not there, he's going to be. Trust me when I tell you, he's going to be very, very soon the best player in the NBA, and they're not going to be easily intimidated, these young guys, when you consider the fact they had to win 2 straight against the reigning NBA champs, including a Game 7 road win in Oklahoma City. So if you think you're going to intimidate the Spurs, even at the Garden, I just don't see that.
No, there's nothing about this moment that's going to be too big for the San Antonio Spurs. And Sid, I want you to think about this. Listen, Victor Wembanyama at the age of 23 is the unquestioned leader of that group in every single way. Go back to the 2024 Paris Olympics. Victor Wembanyama played in a gold medal game against the U.S. team with LeBron James, Kevin Durant, and Steph Curry on it. Victor Wembanyama in that game, and listen, he didn't win the game for France. Okay, but what he did to take those guys to the brink, it took a Steph Curry 3-point barrage in the last 3 minutes of that game to get the U.S. over the hump. It was incredible. But what Victor Wembanyama did was carry a relatively pedestrian France team against the best the U.S. had to offer. That moment, 2 years ago, wasn't too big for him. This isn't going to be too big for him. And you see guys follow his emotional cues. You saw a situation a couple games back where he felt as though he was not being treated all of that well by the officials and being knocked around by Oklahoma City late in the blowout. He sent Mason Plumlee and Bismack Biyombo out on the court to do a little goon work for him, and they went right and did it immediately. There's something with Wembanyama at a young age where he's just an it guy that has it all together, and the Spurs are smart enough to follow his lead in everything that they do. He's a highly emotional player. He's a highly competitive player, but he's really, really wise beyond his years. And listen, for Knicks fans that haven't seen him, this is something unlike anything you've ever seen on an NBA basketball.
They should have seen him, of course, because the Knicks won that silly cup series that they played midway through the season, and the Knicks actually beat the Spurs. So we've seen them, we've beaten them, but that doesn't mean that that's going to translate to an NBA Finals win. Either way, this is the great Brian Geltzeiler, an amazing basketball guy, Sirius XM, the NBA radio channel. So what do you think, Brian, I almost said Mike Woodson, wow. What do you think Mike Brown said to this group of Knicks after Game 3 against Atlanta? They're down 2-1. We know what's transpired since. 11 consecutive victories, a majority of which in blowout fashions, including 3 road wins in deciding games where they won by 30 or more. What the hell do you think Mike Brown said to the Knicks after the Game 3 loss to the Hawks that has turned this group into maybe the most dominant Knick group ever?
Two things involved here, Sid. Number one was a decisive shift in what they did defensively. And so, listen, this was more tactical than it was spiritual, Sid, because what they did defensively is made the decision, we are not going to blindly switch everything. We're not allowing Atlanta to dictate matchup and get Jalen Brunson switched onto C.J. McCollum, which was a matchup that Atlanta really liked a lot. The second part of it, to my understanding, and I think this has been reported by somebody, I talked about it the other day on Mike Francesa's podcast. There was a meeting. Carl Towns approached the lead assistant, Chris Gent, and said to Chris Gent, kind of showed him some diagrams and some stuff where if we run more offense through me at the elbow, everybody's going to see it. Here are some different things that we can do. And Gent was intrigued enough to show it to Mike Brown. Mike Brown wanted to sit down and meet with Carl to find out more that he had in mind, and kind of came back to the team and said, we're going to try this right now. We're going to see if we can run a little bit of this. And this is where the Knicks offense has exploded, because in the half court, everybody's seeing the basketball. The variations that they can run off of Towns having the ball at the elbow and initiating the offense there. The other thing is this, Sid, and everybody forgets this. Jalen Brunson made his bones in the NBA playing as an off-ball player with Luka Doncic in Dallas. Jalen Brunson, this side of Steph Curry, is one of the best off-ball players you will see because of how well he moves without the ball and how tactically sound he is and fundamentally sound. Brunson being off the ball also spares him all of this having to bring the ball up and have it in his hands all the time, so he's not exhausted late in games. And you saw that in game one of the Cleveland series where the Knicks didn't play well, and Brunson had a whole lot of gas in the tank and a whole lot of energy to carry the team on his back. So there's been kind of listen, Mike Brown's whole thing walking in was collaboration. Here was a situation where he had his eyes and ears open and listened to somebody's idea on what they can do to be able to improve what the team was doing. And it was a player that did it, and it benefited the player in a big way, except for one thing. Right now, this side of Jalen Brunson, Karl Townsend, he may be more important than Jalen Brunson to this team for what they're going to need from him in this series, and he's been incredible in these playoffs. The unsung hero of the Knicks, Karl Anthony Towns.
I agree. Brian Geltzeiler here. See, you mentioned the fact you're on Mike Francesa, WFAN legend, part of that Mike and the Mad Dog combination a couple of days ago. So I got a couple of fan guys on here every week. Craig Carton's on, but the legend Joe Beningo, who still does a Saturday show on the fan, and he's on with me every week. And he said to me a couple of days ago, he said, Sid, this team is so deep. He said, I'm willing to have any one of 8 guys take the last shot. You never hear that, right? You got, Michael Jordan would give it up to Paxson or Kerr, but you got 2 or 3 guys. He said, Sid, I am willing. Now, that's a testament to Mike Brown, too, because we know that Thibodeau ran his starters ragged. That's one of the reasons why he was gone, besides the obvious, which is Towns didn't like him. But Mike Brown made a decision to play a lot of guys throughout the season and in the playoffs. This team goes 9 or 10 deep. Any one of 8 guys to take the last shot. That's a big statement, Brian, yes?
It is. It may be a little bit of a stretch also, and I love Joe, but I think you're probably in the neighborhood of more of 5 to 6 guys. It's your 5 starters and maybe Shamet. I'll say this. Listen, Tom Thibodeau didn't have the same kind of bench last year that Mike Brown did. Listen, I'm a Thibodeau loyalist, and I actually look at him as being an enormous figure in why the Knicks are here, because Mike Brown was smart enough to carry all the good things from Tom's culture. And Tom was a one-voice guy, so he wasn't great with collaboration, and that's been a little bit of the difference here. But Mike's carried a lot of that through. But Joe's correct in the fact that you can have a lot of different guys take shots here. The one thing I will say about the Knicks bench, and I do worry about it a little bit in this series, is that the Knicks bench outside of Mitchell Robinson is small. And you're going to see the Spurs here bring some perimeter guys off the bench. I mentioned Dylan Harper earlier. Carter Bryant's another rookie that plays minutes for them. That's a big 6'6" kid on the perimeter. And that's going to be a challenge for the Knicks. The guys that I worry about contributing in this series for the Knicks are McBride and Alvarado, just because I think they're a little small to play with the Spurs perimeter guys. The Spurs are giant on the perimeter. Their smallest perimeter guy is De'Aaron Fox, and only because he's skinny. Steph Castle's a linebacker. They bring big dudes at you.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be the interesting part for the Knicks here. He's used the bench a lot, Mike Brown. This may be the series where that's challenged a little bit, and he may lean back into some Thibodeau philosophies and only playing 7. You know the way it gets in the NBA playoffs, Sid. You shorten up that bench.
Yep.
Push comes to shove in big spots. It's the guys that you can lean into and trust the most.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Hank Sheinkopf is making his second appearance on the show. Now, let me preface this in 2 ways. First of all, Hank, you have forgotten more about politics in New York than I'll ever know. I admit that, okay? And also preface this by saying that Frank Carone is a dear friend. Frank, his brother Anthony, and his brother Joseph. But I was the guy calling out Eric Adams before anyone. Curtis, too, I guess. And I was angry with people like you, quite frankly, Hank, and Katz, and the guys upstairs, and Todd Shapiro, and all these Eric Adams, Bill Ackman, these Eric Adams lovers. And I would say he has no chance. He's lost the Republican voter because I'm a real Republican. I knew he was just being nice to us because Trump saved them from prison. The Democrats want no part of him because now he's sucking up to Trump. For 3+ years, he seemed to care more about illegals and all that nonsense than Americans. His police department was a joke. He went through 4 commissioners. His whole administration almost went to prison. I mean, what are we talking about here? So he came alive the last year because Trump and Holman and Jessica Tisch saved his ass. And now he's running around town like he's Rudy Giuliani because the guy before him, de Blasio, was so bad. And this creep now may be the worst ever. But this idea that Eric Adams was a good mayor, I don't care what anybody tells me, furthest thing from the truth. The furthest. And I believe now he's trying to get back in the game. I don't know. He's very busy these days. What am I missing, Hank?
Well, first, good morning, Sid, and thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're great.
I think that Adams is a historical figure, the second African American mayor.
I don't care about that. Please, I'm begging you. I don't care.
Hold on.
Please.
I think he got into trouble in the beginning, not because his color was black, because his color was blue. It's a cop. And the world around him was about cops, and that was his world. And I don't think you can differentiate.
Let me stop you again. He was a lousy cop. I know Bernard Kerik is dead, okay? But Kerik was on my show quite a bit. He said he caused more trouble in the police department than any amount of arrests he ever made. And by the way, he was black. Big deal. How many times did Eric Adams refer to people like me as crackers? How many times did he talk about his chocolate audience? Let's stop with the nonsense, okay? There was nothing historical about the guy. He had a chip on his shoulder about just about everybody, including the cops.
I know. I've talked to a lot of people around the job during his period of time there. He was not well regarded. He wasn't well liked. The press saw him as a problem. That's all true. I'm going to talk about this from a historical perspective. The most corrupt administration since Jimmy Walker was the Ed Koch 3. So let's put that in some context, number one. Number two, Adams and the corruption side of his administration was due largely to cronyism. He hired the wrong people who were friends. A lot of them came out of the job. It was an unfortunate set of circumstances and terrible for the city at the time. Hopes were very high, and it didn't just pan out the way it should have. There was no way he could have been reelected. You know, I've been pretty fair in my comments about him and everybody else over the last 40 years. So I think that the opportunities lost by Eric Adams are overwhelming, unquestionably so, and a great disappointment ultimately when we look at the facts. But there is some good that comes out of the administration. He finally woke up in the last year and a half. I think a lot of that had to do with Randy Mastro, quite frankly.
Agreed.
We chose the deputy mayor. I think it had to do a lot with Jessica Tisch, and it's a good choice of her as the police commissioner. A lot of the other commissioner choices were just frankly lousy.
Listen, hold on. Not the first one, and he blew that. The truth is, and you know how close I am with Jessica. Keyshawn Sewell was terrific. She would have been great, but he blew that. He blew that.
She was terrific. I mean, I have a personal fondness for her, and think the world of her. And, you know, she was a great cop, well regarded, serious person, and was absolutely not used properly, and was undermined by people who are close to the mayor, unquestionably so. That's not the issue. Where are we right now is the issue. And the issue is we're in a terrible place with potential for a 75 bankruptcy and politicians who have, just like they were in 75, who are clueless and refuse to accept the facts. Simple.
It really is that simple. And I'm trying to figure out, Hank, what he's done well. I see people, and I know New York One is a communist channel. You may like it, but Errol Lewis is a bad guy and it's a communist channel. And they have people on all the time saying, what a great job this guy is doing. Now, yeah, child care is important. I've got 2 kids. So let's give him a decent grade on what he's trying to accomplish for child care. Outside of that, should I list the 25 things he's done a terrible job with? Again, I'll ask the same question like I did about Eric Adams. What am I missing?
Well, here's what you're missing, and you're a very smart guy. So you're not missing programs and policy. What you're missing is behavior. He is a brilliant propagandist. He has hired people who are very competent at doing that and who are very loyal to him. He has a brilliant smile. He is the creator of a social movement, not of a political operation that will likely sweep portions of this country over the next few years, doing no good for an awful lot of people. And the things that he's talked about that he's done are largely undone. The idea of a $30 million expenditure to create a public grocery is ridiculous because it'll drive a lot of decent people out of work and out of their businesses and out of their jobs. And the chambers of commerce throughout the city are organizing against him.
Not only that, but it's not $30 million. It turns out it's $30 million for one. It's more like $120 million.
No question. No argument here. The idea of not funding pensions for municipal employees is among the most dangerous things we've heard in a long time. Why? because it could result in a 75-like disaster when the due bill comes. The backing off on his rhetoric, his anti-police rhetoric, is all well and good, but not having a reception around the time of the Puerto Rican Day Parade is a way of telling you, and also not surprising about the Israel Day Parade, because his entire life has been about anti-Israel activity and the belief in the destruction of the Jewish state. So, and he learned that from his parents. So there's nothing new there.
No, but I'm glad you brought up the Puerto Rico thing, because Ruben Diaz Jr. actually tweeted something yesterday, and he included me in the tweet. The Puerto Rican community is really pissed.
Well, but that's not important to him, because the real objective of any significant social movement is to reduce the number of potential enemies in a particular area of population, so that you can organize in a way that creates a larger and more compact movement with greater intensity and force that will then do exactly what the leader wants. This is a national problem that will undermine this country over time. The election of DSA candidates throughout the country is his desire. There is no other desire, and to make him the leader of that movement. He will undermine candidates, which they're already doing, and lie to them, which he's already done, to undermine endorsements and other behaviors. And let's see how well he does in June. If Brad Lander is likely to win and beat Goldman in that congressional race, that's one.
Yuck.
But let's see how he does with Espaillat's opponent, who's a stone-cold Jew hater, anti-Semite, and bigot against white people also. And there are other races at the lower level. Smart thinkers would say, if we want to stop the DSA, we have to choke it off at its roots. How so? Don't let them get into Democratic Party candidacies, because they're not Democrats, number one. Number two, choke them off by choking off the next generation. Win the races at the most local level so they won't be a next generation. Absent that, we will see the creation of a movement that is unstoppable with this guy who's now the mayor of the city of New York as his leader. And the potential for disaster in this country, as we know it today, is extraordinary.
Oh, God. It's thank God for the Knicks. But you're right. I mean, we've seen in New Jersey a couple of months ago, that lady, anti-Semite, she won yesterday. Hamawy, he's a terrible guy. This guy was on the defense team for a 1993 World Trade Center bomber. I mean, he's...
The guy who's threatened to kill, his people threatened to kill the federal judge who was brave, Michael Mukasey, who sat on that case and put his family's life at risk and had to be guarded by U.S. Marshals for an extended period of time, who later went on to become the Attorney General of the United States. Everything is really topsy-turvy, and this country is going through an internal revolution. The question is, will there be enough time to straighten it out? Is there balance? We have a generation of people led by Imam Dani who have never paid a price, never borne a burden, have never had a tough day, don't understand, have never put a callus on their hands, have never served anyone or anything, are the most overeducated generation, the most housed generation, yes, at higher cost, the people who fed more free, who have had meals and eaten more regularly than any generation of mankind, and who stand to get the greatest transfer of wealth in the history of humanity over the next 20 years. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, no. Final 60 seconds. Oh, I got to ask you about the future for this guy. You're great, by the way, Hank. You really are. I love the fact you come on this show. Thank you. It's an honor.
Thank you. Thank you for having
You're
me
welcome.
here.
Final 60 seconds. He's already planning for his re-election. He's not even in office for 6 months. But he's so confident and so cocky that he's already looking forward to winning again. And I've heard Jessica Tisch, she may run. I'm not going to tell you what she said to me, but she may run. If Jessica Tisch runs, she got a shot.
Tough race for her.
Yeah.
Tough race.
Yeah. So what can the Republicans do? If you're Ed Cox right now and this group in New York, you should be losing sleep already, right?
Ed Cox is a very decent man. It's time for him to resign and put some younger people in those positions to create a real Republican Party. You consider that Republicans had the state senator, the state assemblyman, the councilman, and the congressman on the Upper East Side 30 years ago, and what they have in Manhattan, New York County alone is nothing. You have to rebuild something, and you have to organize, and you've got to get younger people in there with tremendous amounts of energy, recreate the Liberal Party in some fashion or some other party that can be substantially related to Republicans and Democrats and endorse and organize around people so that the Trump problem, which is extraordinarily significant in New York City, can be overcome. It's just, you got to do these things. If they don't, we're going to continue to have this. And you got to organize the Chinese and understand the nature of the changing politics and changing demographics of New York City. The Asians are going to be very significant, and they will be in battle with the Mamdanis because everything they stand for in the American dream is counter to what Mamdani and his people who don't believe in free enterprise, don't believe in the acquisition and control of housing in any way, shape, or form, don't believe in the things that made this upcoming generation of African Americans and others who are able to build lives and some wealth out of civil service and out of investing in smaller properties and smaller businesses. They don't believe in any of that.
Super job. Yep, you're right. No, you're right. They don't. Hank, you got to keep talking, man. I don't know. Keep coming on this show and with John and Rita and wherever you are. Just keep talking. You're very valuable to us here in New York City. You tell the truth and you know what the hell you're talking about. So thank you for hopping on today. Another great appearance, Hank. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sid. All the best.
God bless you. I love this guy. I love Hank Sheinkopf. He's a smart guy. He really does know the candidates. He knows the history. And he's a very important voice in the city. Kind of gutsy there. I'm friendly with Ed Cox. I like Ed a lot. I just saw him in Rockland County a couple of weeks ago. He said he's a wonderful man, but it's time to resign. That's a big statement from Hank Sheinkopf. I will take a break. We got all the news coming up, and then we got 3 great guests still to come. The relentless patriot, the amazing artist. He's always great on a Wednesday morning. Scott LoBaido, former great Congressman Peter King, and making her debut. It's a big one on Sid Friends in the morning. She is currently, as we speak, sitting with President Trump. Happens to be the Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. All that coming up.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Brooke Rollins and Larry co-founded the America First Policy Institute, big think tank, American conservative. Trump loves her. In fact, I think she was with President Trump moments ago, and he loves me, so we got that in common. And she's doing a great job all across the country, making sure that our dairy farmers and the agriculture folks are doing okay. It's a big problem. It was before, but we are certainly paying attention to it. And with Brooke Rollins at the helm, we're going to be in good shape. So here she is making her debut on the program, Brooke Rollins. Brooke, good morning. How are you?
Well, what a great joy to be on with you this morning. How have I never been on your show before? This is this seems like a sin or something. We got to do this more often.
And your name always comes up. Again, Larry was on yesterday. 2 days ago, Brooke, you ready for this? Because she loves me too. She's been in studio with me. Kelly Loeffler was here, and she mentioned you. Yeah, she mentioned you.
Oh, wow. Well, listen, it really is an honor to be on, and the president obviously just loves you, and we're fighting so hard to make America great again. And I was in your beautiful state yesterday. I mean, it was just an incredible honor to be there, and it is it's a real battle every single day, but you've got all the right people. Larry is my brother from a different mother. Kelly and I are traveling the country together, getting the good word out, and we're just fighting every single day to bring light to what the left is trying to do to our country.
You are great. Then listen to that Texas accent. She's an Aggie. She's an Aggie.
I am an Aggie, and my Texas San Antonio Spurs may be playing your New York Knicks, I think, tonight. So,
yeah.
It's a big night.
Okay, I'll bet you a dozen eggs my Knicks win.
Well, here's the good news. I will take that bet. It's going to be real cheap because the price of eggs under Donald Trump have gone down about 80%.
Yeah, that's true. They have. I tell you, and you guys, your team, I happen to know one of the folks on your team, Alex Broughton. She's terrific. And your team works up very, very hard. I know you go to all these cities and you set up these major venues. You mentioned the fact, I guess you were in Syracuse most recently. Right now you know. Right, but you realize, Brooke, that is kind of a downtrodden area, that upstate New York region, because they don't get a lot of help. They don't. And some of these farmers up there are really struggling. So I'm glad you went there because, honestly, Brooke, they need your help.
Well, it's 100% true. And I tell you what, the farmer, the rancher, the backbone of our country, farm security is national security. It said if we can't feed ourselves, we lose what freedom is. We have nothing to give to our next generation. It is an existential issue for our country. It's hard enough to be a farmer and a rancher in a Texas or a Georgia or a red state. But imagine and how difficult it would be to be a farmer or a rancher in a state like New York or California, where your governor, your elected officials, at least at the state level, are not just not supportive. They're almost doing everything they can to put you out of business. It's nonsensical, and it's so destructive. So coming to upstate New York yesterday, I'll be back again. Those are the most American of Americans. They love this country. They love our president. They're so proud of their 5th, 6th, 7th generation dairy farms. I was with the incredible family yesterday, the Craven family. Their great-great-granddad bought that land about 30 minutes outside of Syracuse in 1890, and they have been milking cows on that land since 1890. But what the government is doing, trying to take your land in New York and put solar panels on it, trying to push these people off the land. It is heartbreaking, and we got to fight. We just have to do better for our people.
I'm glad you mentioned solar panels. This is our 33rd Secretary of Agriculture. We talk all the time about the great Trump appointees and hirings in his administration. Brooke Rollins, for me, is right there at the very top of the list. And this windmill idea, I mean, how many places does it have to fail? I mean, they actually wanted it to run in Germany. They did a whole summer of this windmill. They shut off, obviously. They didn't. They had no other energy source. And there was no wind all summer long. So these poor Germans were dying of the heat the whole summer. But Hochul is one of it's terrible. What's with these windmills?
Terrible. And, it's funny. I remember the first term, and I was in the first Trump White House. I was running all the domestic policy for him at that point. And I remember when he started, and this is what, almost 10 years ago now. You've lived it with him every single minute. But when he started talking, when he first began to ran the crazy Paris Climate Accord, and I don't know how much you remember of that, but it was this,
Yes.
Every country is joining up to basically destroy themselves internally by not allowing themselves to use fossil fuels. We're all going to move to wind and solar and all the things. And that was obviously the Obama years. And I just, I was down in Texas at the time. I was fighting it down there like crazy, but everyone was just resigned. And the only other country in the world who refused to sign up, I think, was Syria, maybe like a very third world country. And this president, God bless him, said, this is absurd. This is going to destroy our country. We're not going to do it. And even some of his own administration in that first term tried to talk him out of it. Like, sir, you can't leave the Paris Climate Accord. We'd be the only other country other than Syria who is not in it. And he said, this is insane. It's going to cause prices to go up for all of our people. We're going to cede, everything to China, basically, because China signed on, but they weren't going to follow it, obviously. So there were so many reasons for that. Now, we've seen the president in so many ways. We've seen President Trump's initial idea that was considered outside of the box or not part of the normal way of thinking. We've seen it all come true, and it's certainly been true on wind and renewable energy. And the fact that not just a few states, but a lot of our blue states, including New York, are still, in this crazy world where they want to take farmland. They want to put windmills and solar on it. By the way, the windmills and the solar panels are made in China. They know that the Chinese know exactly what they're doing. And we're destroying our ability to provide energy for ourselves while taking the ability to feed ourselves off the table, too. And that's what's happening in New York right now.
It's interesting because the president was in China when you guys had a big event in Maine, I guess, and JD was there. But the president is now going on the road with you, Brooke. He loves you, and it's a big trip, and I love that state. I've actually been a couple of years since I've been there, since the since the RNC, when we nominated President Trump on that magnificent Thursday night, just 5 days after he was shot in Butler, Pennsylvania. Of course, I'm talking about the great state of Wisconsin. And it looks like, Brooke, you guys are on the way to Wisconsin with the boss.
That's right. No, it has been an amazing run. It's remarkable to see. I mean, I believe at one point we were in 1776 in the 1860s for the very soul of America, and to be a part of that is the greatest blessing. It's hard. It's very hard work. It's 7 days a week, 20 hours a day.
I did want to ask about these screwworms because we had that conversation with Wyatt Imus down at that Imus Ranch in Texas. So I used to work with this guy named Don Imus for many years in radio. Trump knows who he is very well. He used to put his stuff.
I know who Don is.
Right. So Don has this big ranch down there in Texas. He passed away a couple of years ago, but his son Wyatt, he actually trains show horses, and I've kept in touch with Wyatt. And I had read a couple of weeks ago that these screwworms were making their way down to Texas, and Wyatt said, Sid, don't laugh. It's a big issue because our cattle, which of course we import, we'd rather import the cattle than the illegals. He said it's become a huge issue, these screwworms, and it looks like it's not exclusive to the state of Texas. What the hell's going on with that?
Well, this is very ironic. I'm talking to a New York City guy about screwworm, but it is actually a national issue because as our cattle herd is at an all-time low, the price of beef, the president talks about quite a bit, is at an all-time high. The left's assault for years has caused this cattle herd to be so low, and at the same time, the screwworm is a flesh-eating pest. We beat back in the 1950s, the 1960s, but the open border policy of the last administration, combined with the cartels, the illicit movement of cattle, has brought the screwworm to the very front door of the border down in Texas. So we are on it. We've been on it for a year. The Bidens slept on it. Nobody did anything, but we're building massive facilities. We have teams deployed. We're ready. We're ready for it. If it comes across, hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, we'll be ready.
Well, you are delightful. I don't know why it's been so long to get you on, but I would hope that you become a regular part of the rotation like President Trump. I think you're doing a fantastic job. You really are one of our best people. It's very, very important. Take care of our farmers, and you're doing a tremendous job with that. Brooke Rollins, congratulations, and terrific job today. Thank you so much.
Oh, Sid, I love being on. And, yes, you tell your friend Larry Kudlow that I am your favorite guest, and he's the second favorite. So that the next time he's on, you got to pass that on for me, okay?
Here's what I'll do. The next time he's on, I'm going to cut up this piece of audio, Brooke, and I'm going to play it for him right before
Yes, exactly. Oh, it's so great to be on. Thank you.
Have a great trip to Wisconsin, and God bless you. Okay, sweetheart? Thank you so much.
God bless you, too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. There she is, the great 33rd Secretary of Agriculture. What a great lady. Gotta love her. Brooke Rollins, a Texas A&M Aggie. We'll take a break. I don't know what's going on. Steve Schirripa just called me, and the amazing actor from The Sopranos and the Blue Bloods, who's about one of the most famous celebrity Knick bands we've got. He's right there with Ben Stiller and Spike Lee, all those guys. He may hop on. Pete King, Scott LoBaido, who knows?
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
There's no way in the world the Knicks can go to the NBA Finals, and I'm not going to have Steve Schirripa on. I know that Spike Lee's a big deal, but him and I don't really get along. He's he's a liberal, and he's wearing Pakistani clothing. And I can't stand Ben Stiller. So of all the celebrities there at Madison Square Garden, my favorite person, because he happens to be a longtime friend of mine, 25 years. Legitimately, I love this guy, is former Sopranos and Blue Bloods actor, the great Steve Schirripa. There's no way Knicks and Spurs NBA Finals, Steve, I can do this show without you coming on. So thank you for doing this morning.
My pleasure, Sydney. Good to talk to you, my friend.
You too.
Who would ever think we would be here finally? The city of New York has lit up. Jim Dolan and the Knicks have lit up the city. It is Knick fever, man, and I couldn't be happier.
I know. No, you're a real fan. You're a real fan.
I'm a real fan.
Yeah, you're out there all the time. Fan. And I told you this last week for fans of the Knicks and the Sopranos, and just about every New Yorker is a fan of both. The last time our Knicks went to the finals, ironically against San Antonio, was 1999. Do you know, Steve Schirripa, what also debuted in 1999? Of course, you know. The Sopranos. So the last time the Knicks went to the finals, it was the same year Sopranos met America.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I auditioned. I came on in the second season, so I auditioned in May of '99. You know, that's exactly right. It's been a long time. Listen, this is what I mean. I'm not even talking as a fan. I'm a basketball fan. You know that. I played basketball in college 100 pounds ago. The Knicks will beat the Spurs.
They will.
They will be the Spurs. They will be a parade in New York. I mean this from the bottom of my toes. This team is not going to be beat. I mean, peaking at the right time. They play with a lot of heart. They play like they like each other. I don't see them getting beat. They just keep coming back. I was at the Cleveland game when they came back. They were down, 22 points with 8 minutes left or whatever it was. It was incredible. So that's how I feel. But, I mean, just the whole city. I mean, seriously, every bar is full. Every restaurant, people are wearing Knick gear. Even people don't even know a basketball from a hockey puck, man. You know, Jim Dolan. I'm a Jim Dolan fan.
Me too.
I'm a friend of Jim, and he does wonderful things that people don't know about. And this is his moment and the Knicks moment. And it's just really, it's great, man. Great for the city.
It is, and I'm going to play devil's advocate for just a second. I am picking the Knicks in 6. Brian Geltzeiler, you know Brian, he's a brilliant basketball guy. He's got the Spurs in 7. Great guy. He took San Antonio in 7. And you know the game, okay? And the Knicks have been tremendous. No Knick team has ever been this dominant. Not 69, not 73, 11 consecutive wins. They win road games to wrap up series by 30 points. They're just blowing out the competition. But you do know that San Antonio is a much different animal than Atlanta, Philadelphia, or Cleveland.
No. I understand that. I just think that the team is just playing so well, and Brown has made some really good moves. I just think I hear all that, and I know Wemby's the greatest player in the world. I get it. I get the whole thing. I'm just telling you, I feel this team is not to be beat.
So what do you think? No, listen, and again, I'm picking them in 6. So then what do you think, Steve, you know, when they were down 2-1 to Atlanta, people were saying the happiest guy in the world today is Tom Thibodeau. They got rid of the guy. The guy was doing great.
Yeah, there was a lot of people. Listen, I remember, you know me, I take my walks all over New York, right?
Yeah.
So I'm on the Upper East Side now. I'm taking a walk. I hear a guy. I'm stopped at the red light, waiting across. Get rid of Brunson. This guy's a bum. I'm hearing a guy, swear to God, the guy's on the phone next to me. I mean, everybody turns. That's the difference between a fan and these fly-by-night guys, man. You know, I've seen it all. Listen, I've been to Knick games opening night, Sid. They boo them. The fans boo on opening night.
Opening night?
I swear, I've been to the Garden numerous times on opening night in the last 26 years. And they get booed. I mean, there's fans and there's fans, right? You know, and listen, there's people have been fans since they're kids. I'm one of them. You know, you're one of them. You know, I honestly believe this is the time. The time has come, and I know people turn quick. You know, they stink. You know, you're a Met fan, you're a Yankee fan. They turn. If you're a fan, you're a fan. You know.
Well, this team, though, I think you'd agree with this, and in no particular order, and no disrespect to the Mets or the Jets or the Isles, there are 3 teams in this city that are godlike. They are the Yankees, the Knicks, and the Giants. Those are the 3 big ones, and maybe not in that order. Yankees are number 1. Question is, who's number 2, the Knicks or the Giants? But the Knicks, if they win this will be about as big a championship win, maybe in the history of the city. Is that an overstatement? Or somewhat true?
No, I don't think so. Right? It's been so long. What's it been? 53 years.
Yeah. Well, it depends. It depends. The governor, Kathy Hochul, said it's only been 33 years because she.
It's early in the morning. You're going to aggravate me with these people. She doesn't know her ass from a hole in the ground. This woman. Come on.
I know that because one thing about you, Stevie, and again, this is the amazing actor, whether it's Sopranos, Blue Bloods, he's got a bunch of great movies, too.
I got my book coming. My book is out. Willie Boy Eats the World. I got a kid's book that's doing great. You know, we've been all over the place with book signings and stuff.
When did that come out exactly again?
It came out about 3 weeks ago.
Okay,
Willie Boy Eats the World.
Yeah,
We've been reading to kids. I was just in Staten Island last week. We read to 500 kids, beautiful school in Staten Island, St. Joseph Hill. We read to the kids. They got books. We did book signings with Michael Imperioli. I was out in Long Island, and you know we're doing that. The book is good. It's about my dog Willie. I got a wiener dog that's kind of famous, and we've been doing that and doing. You know, we went on tour with the Sopranos. Me and Michael. We did our show in the UK. We sold 27,000 tickets.
Wow.
The show over there is as popular here, if not more. So.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
And Willie is famous. We look at your Instagram videos with you and the dog. But the thing about you, Steve, you had the cookbooks for a long time, too. Those goes back to the Imus days. But the children stuff, you're a great father. But you're great with that stuff, too. My son still like that movie, Nicky Deuce. I love that movie. So
Nicky Deuce. Listen, it's one of Jim's last movies. A lot of people that never saw it. It's Sirico's in it, Vince Caratola, Michael Imperioli, It's going to be coming up this month. Jim is going to be dead. 13 years he passed away.
Oh, my, it was in June. That's right. 13 years. And Tony's gone. I mean, that's got to be a little sad for you, all those guys.
Yeah, it's very sad because they were great guys. We had a lot of laughs together. We had a lot of laughs, Tony and Jim, and it's very sad. I mean, honestly, we during when we do the times we've done the show, our theater thing, we always do great tributes to both those guys.
No, I'm sure you do. And look,
I got to tell you, after Tony Soprano, everyone's favorite character is Paulie Walnuts.
Yeah, he was such a great guy, too. Such a great person. I love Tony, too. We had a lot of laughs over the years.
A lot of laughs.
Yeah.
I used to terrorize him.
I know.
He was a beautiful guy. A lot of laughs.
Still
I told you that story, right? We're in Atlantic City.
Yeah.
And we're in Atlantic City. We're signing autographs at some event. And guy comes up to Tony. He says, "Hey, Tony, could you do me a favor? My friend Lewis is handicapped. He's your biggest fan. Would you sign a picture?" So Tony, not thinking, he writes, "To Louis, the best handicapper in town."
That is a great story. The best handicapper in town.
Yeah, he says, "My friend." He said, "Hey, Tony, my friend's handicapped. He's your biggest fan." He wrote, "To Louis, the best handicapper in town."
Hilarious. No, listen. I remember too being at Danny DeVito's restaurant when you you called us a meatball day down in Delray Beach. That was a good time too.
Remember that?
That was great. But
Danny had the chairs low so he could look you in the eye, right? You sat in the chairs. It was a beautiful restaurant. And Tony likes his macaroni mushy. He keeps sending it back.
Used to be Vic and Angelo's, I think, but then you can't talk about your career as great as Bobby Bacala was, and you took the pipe by the train. That was terrible, by your nice little trains. But the Anthony character on Blue Bloods, Steve, you were magnificent in that too. Magnificent.
Yeah, thank you, man. That was a great. Listen, I was on the show. I did 146 episodes of that show. That was fantastic. Shooting on the streets of New York. Selleck and Bridget and Donnie Wahlberg. That was a great run, a really good run. I don't know why it ended. Should have never ended.
Agreed.
The show was doing great, 10 million people, but who knows what they do? Who knows what anybody does, Sid? All I do know is the Knicks will win this series.
Let me ask you this. What if they don't?
Take it to the bank.
What if they don't?
It still was a great season.
Okay, good. That's all I want to hear. I don't want
you. It was a wonderful season. No, I'm not me.
Yeah. All right.
I'm there. I'm there through and through. I'm as loyal as can be.
Yeah.
I've been there. Good times, bad times.
Oh, no, listen. You're down there on the floor. Like I said, Spike and Ben. No. Go to the other side. There's Stevie with his beautiful daughter or whoever else he's with that night at the game. Will you be happy, Steve Schirripa? We talked about Kathy Hochul, that moron who thinks the Knicks won it in 93. Will you be happy to march in a ticker tape parade when the Knicks win, not if they win, when they win with Mamdani?
I'm not going to stand next to Mamdani. Is that what you're talking about?
You wouldn't stand next to him?
Are you out of your mind? Come on, Sid. Are you out of your mind?
No, you know what's funny because you used
I would love to be in the parade. If the Knicks win, I would love to.
No, you're going to be in the parade, but you used to come in with me and Bernard, God rest his soul, and complain about Bill de Blasio, complain about Eric Adams. But you got to admit, this guy's the worst, Mamdani.
Listen to me. De Blasio, who would have thought de Blasio and COVID were the good old days? All right?
That's a funny joke.
But de Blasio, he set the stage. Please, Sid, I'm trying. It drives me insane. I have to shut the TV off when I see his face. He conned everybody. He conned these people. They don't know the worst is yet to come.
I know. That was one of the funniest things I've ever heard. Who would have known that de Blasio and COVID were the good old days?
Exactly.
Oh, God, that is brilliant. Okay, so you'll be in the Garden Game 3 for the Knicks when they're home against San Antonio. Are you going to any watch parties? Are you one of those superstitious
no, I'm not
fans?
A watch party.
No.
If I'm not at the game, I will be watching at home with my wife.
Beautiful. What if somebody calls your phone? If there's somebody calls your phone during the game, you get mad?
Maybe, yeah. I said, what are you bothering me now for? But, I'm old. Sid, believe it or not, I'm old, and I got grouchier as I got older. I was grouchy 25 years ago. I'm crankier now.
Well, you wouldn't know it.
If I'm in the middle of doing something, like in the middle of the afternoon, the phone rings, I get annoyed.
Me too. Well, you wouldn't know it, though.
Like a guy knows what I'm doing. What is he calling me now for? He didn't know.
You wouldn't know it, though, because when you meet Steve Schirripa, and if you're a New Yorker, your best chance to meet him, trust me, I don't want to out the guy, but is at the marathon, because his wife and my wife, they run the marathon together every year. Stevie's out there taking pictures and signing autographs.
How many years have your wife run?
Well, she'll be doing, this November will be her 41st marathon overall. She's actually got the Abbott Trophy for the 6 majors. It'll be her 6th New York. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is fantastic. Yeah, my wife's run 13 New York. She's going to run again, and she's got like 46 or 47 halves.
Oof.
But, it's incredible what they do. But your wife did the 6, huh? What is that? New York?
Correct.
Boston?
Correct.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
June the 3rd, 2011. Andrew Gold died. So he's dead 15 years. He's very lonely now, I guess.
I was waiting for that. That was so easy.
You really are.
That was so easy.
Well, you encourage me.
Here comes insensitive joke 5,040 of the year.
Well, you encourage me to do this type of stuff.
All right. Well, I'd like to know how I do that, but
just
if you say so, that's
just
fine.
Your mere existence encourages me.
I see.
And then you do the worst. And then Noam is the worst of all.
Why is that?
Because you laugh.
Well, it was funny. I was listening to the lyrics of that song. I don't know that I've ever really listened to them.
It's a very depressing song.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Awful.
They didn't tell him about a sibling?
No.
What's that? But I'm trying to follow the song. It's difficult to follow.
To be honest, I'll be happy he's dead at this point.
What's the whole jive of the song?
It's amazing he didn't kill himself
right.
when he wrote the song.
He didn't know he had a sibling, and then he found out later.
Right.
He thought he was going to be the only
He
child.
thought he'd be the only one.
And
But
then they had another kid.
right.
And
So he wasn't so lonely anymore.
Right.
But where were they hiding that other kid?
What's that?
Where were they hiding the other kid? Oh, they weren't. Okay, that's why I said I had a hard time following.
Maybe you should try to call Andrew and get all the information on this song. If you can do that, that'll be impressive. I mean, I loved our guest list today. Elizabeth Barcohana, Brian Geltzeiler, Hank Sheinkopf, Brooke Rollins, Steve Schirripa. If you can get Andrew Gold, then we've won.
Was he in the basement?
Maybe. Wait a second, who's this? No, he thought he was going to be the only kid,
right.
And then all of a sudden they had another kid.
Oh, so this is just like a kid who's upset that you had a second child.
Yeah. No, he liked being the only child.
The only child.
I got you.
Because for a lot of us, like I have 2 kids, okay? And my son and my daughter are very, very close. I mean, they're really close, Ava and Gabriel. Really close. But for a couple of years there, it was touch and go. Ava liked being the only child. She was a little resentful of Gabriel. Actually, for more than a couple of years, for a bunch of years. Like, thank God right now they're in their teens. Ava's in her 20s, I should say. And they are as tight as can be. It makes me and Danielle very happy. But a lot of parents, you've seen this. That second child comes along. And the older kid is like, wait a second.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah, why are you holding him or her so much? And yeah.
I want that thing too.
Right.
I want it.
Didn't you experience that a little bit with your kids, no?
Yeah, initially, yeah.
Yes.
But thank God, like yours, they're like,
right.
tight. They're
Inseparable
really good friends.
now.
Yeah.
But
or they'd be a lonely child.
That's right.
Well, I'm sure Andrew's sister loves that song.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure
if he has one. I'm not sure if he has one. So Justin sends Brooke Rollins, who's our 33rd Secretary of Agriculture, a note. She made her first appearance, her debut on this show, about an hour ago, and she was terrific. She literally was in a meeting with President Trump in D.C., So Justin, who's a great producer, he sends her a note. He says, listen, you're about to come on with us. Just tell Trump you're coming on with Sid. You know? So she comes on, and at one point, unprovoked, she talks about how much President Trump loves me. She didn't say, I know you know the president. She goes, and the president loves you. So that has led me to the conclusion that Brooke Rollins, Justin, must have taken your advice and said, Mr. President, I got to run. I'm calling Sid. He probably said, I love Sid. Because the way she talked about it, it seemed to me like there was some type of conversation. Or am I just looking for that?
No, I don't think so. I think you're probably right.
Right?
Yeah, and if you're stuck in a meeting with Trump, with the president, I should say, and you got to get out of there, I think it's a pretty fair play to say, hey, I got to jump on with Sid.
Right.
He'll give you a free exit.
Every time.
Yeah, every time. Say, oh, you got to go run, get on with Sid. Go ahead.
Right, because he's done that.
Right.
You know, we start every show. A lot of you listening right now don't listen at 6 o'clock in the morning. You have that piece that we start every show with. Every show.
The opening?
The very Trump piece.
Oh, yeah.
That is right before the open.
Okay.
And this was one day when I was doing an interview with Trump, and it was supposed to be at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We taped it. And it was like 5:30, and he hadn't showed up yet. And Margot Martin is texting me, he's coming. He's in a very important meeting. This was before the Iran war. He was probably discussing what they were going to do. And to your point, if you want to get out of a meeting with President Trump, just say, I got to call Sid. He's not going to bother you, because this is what President Trump said to me.
I'm sorry, Sid. Hi.
Oh, God, don't be sorry. You kidding me?
No, I'm wrapped up in these meetings on peace. And I said, it's between peace and Sid Rosenberg. And I said, let's take Rosenberg, okay? So.
True story. Miranda Devine spoke to President Trump yesterday in her podcast. She's on with us tomorrow?
Yeah.
Now, why did we wanted Miranda today, but we were talking, the BB Trump fight.
Yeah.
Right.
He confirmed that there was some sort of fight.
Right, but he also confirmed, much of the chagrin of the media, that him and BB are still great.
Yeah.
Because the media wants Trump and BB to hate each other because they hate Israel. And that's not going to happen, is it?
No, not right now anyway, no.
What do you mean not right now?
Well, you never know.
You're leaving room open for that?
Sure, why not?
Who do you think is...
Look at you and Peter King, right? You hated each other for a while, then you're back
That's
loving
true.
each other.
He may hate me again today. He just got bumper
That's
Schirripa.
true. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Or never stopped
Trust me,
hating.
the first 5 minutes tomorrow is going to be all about how he got bumper Schirripa. In the meantime, he's like the biggest Blue Bloods fan ever, Pete King. If you ever gone to Peter King's social media, which I do all the time, he's great actually on social media, great. There's more pictures of him on the set with Donnie Wahlberg and Tom Selleck. Yeah, Bridget, all of them. And Schirripa. For some reason, Peter had some type of relationship with that show.
I could see him on the show. I could see him.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
He'd be great. And he was on that set all the time.
He said him and Steve are very close. He said, if you're going to bum me for anybody, it might as well be Schirripa.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not mad.
He said just at the very least, don't make it George Santos.
I know. I wanted to make it George Santos so badly. I'm a little disappointed that George didn't get back to me, because the longer he does not get back to me, then he just maybe, what's that word? It's the opposite of innocent.
Yeah. Really Clouseau, is that what you came up with?
Well, I don't want to go there. I actually had to, shut up. I had to block some guy on Twitter today. I blocked him because he was annoying me. He's on there yesterday. I used to love Sid, but George Santos is. I'm like, shut up. I don't need your approval. I don't want your approval. I don't care if you hate George Santos. Just shut up. When you get to host your own morning show, you can bring on whoever you want. Okay? It's not like George and I go to dinner together every night. We don't. He got pardoned by the President of the United States. So take it up with Trump. Leave me out of it, okay? You're mad at George Santos? Take it up with Trump. But if he's guilty of this, what am I going to tell you? You know, I don't want him to be. My friend Lynn said that he's innocent. But
how does she know?
She doesn't. Oh. People just like him. It's a weird thing because he clearly was in the wrong, George Santos. He admits it. He admits it. He didn't say he didn't do any of that stuff. He went to prison. He was scared to death. And a lot of folks, including me, reached out to President Trump, and we got him out. But he Well, you just can't keep doing stuff like that, because eventually people are going to get a little tired of it. So he hasn't texted me back.
I guess he wasn't making that much money on Cameo anymore, if this story is true.
That was a while ago, the Cameo stuff.
Yeah, but he claimed that he was like one of the biggest Cameo guys out there.
Yeah, but that was months ago. That was before he went to prison. That was like last year, I think. No, maybe even before that. I don't know what he's done since. He moved to Pennsylvania. He was moving to Florida, and then he called in 2 weeks ago. He was in Pennsylvania. Well, I don't know. I wish him well, I guess. Until we find out what really happened. Do we know anything else at this point this morning?
No, I mean, now it's just all allegations. He claimed yesterday that he knew nothing about it.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll take him at his word until we find out he lied again. Anyway, we'll take a short break. We still have the Relentless Patriot, the amazing artist. All these big birthday parties are coming up, 250. Don't ask. I don't have tickets to UFC. Don't even bother asking me. Don't even bother.
Damn.
Well, I get every day. I don't even have tickets.
That'd be pretty cool, though.
What?
That'd be the one UFC event that I would actually.
No, I know.
like
Me
to
too.
go to.
I've been to others, but not many. I'm not a big UFC fan. You know that. I love Dana White, and I love the whole America thing, but I'm not a big fan of that. I like boxing. I'm an old-fashioned boxing guy, but I would love to go, but I haven't really made a big deal about it. I texted Monica Crowley once about 2 months ago. I haven't texted Trump about it. I don't care that much about it. Truth be told, I'd like to be at the White House June 14th. The UFC fight is the third reason why. Third reason. Number one, that's President Trump's birthday, and he's turning 80. I want to be there for that. And number two, and LoBaido appreciates this, it's Flag Day. So for me, the president's birthday and Flag Day go way ahead of a day of UFC fights. But it does show you what a magnificent day that's going to be when you combine all of those. And then we got a whole summer and a whole year of celebrating 250. It's going to be big. And Scott LoBaido is a part of it. So we'll take a break. We'll talk to Scott when we get back.
Sid and Friends in the morning on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Scott LoBaido, amazing artist. Scotty, good morning, buddy. Are you on your way right now to Delaney Hall to throw some bodies around?
No. I got to chill out. I got to relax. a little bit. That was a great hit with Steve Schirripa. That was a great. It was so much fun. It was really fun. You got to get Drea Mateo on.
Yes, I want to. She's a conservative too, right, Scott?
Dude, I didn't realize she was like one of my biggest fans, and I was in love. Who wasn't in love with her? Adriana from the show.
Oh yeah.
So I find out like this guy. She's on my social media, this and that. I'm like, who is this girl? And I check, and it was actually her. And I just lost my shit that she was my fan.
Oh, she loves you.
She came to my premiere, my New York City premiere. She came from California.
Wow.
And I was blown away that she is one of us. She's, you know why I say us is because me and you and I, we are conservatives, but we have liberal tendencies. We're New Yorkers, we're artists, of course I have, I don't care about gay marriage. I don't care about that.
Me either.
I just care about bringing children into the whole, it's common sense. So she is just like that. And she busted the hinges off the closet in Hollywood like I did with the art world coming out as a conservative. And, that's a tough thing to do. So she's a great interview, so I can connect you definitely.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. She was on my show once, and I ended up calling in sick that day, so Bernard did it by herself. I'm talking about 9 years ago. She never came back, but I'd love to talk to Dre, absolutely. And if she loves you, I love her, so it's all good.
Yeah, totally. Anyway, look, yesterday I posted about, everybody's trying to figure out how do you end these vicious, violent riots, whether it's at this New Jersey detention center or whether it's, you Jews getting attacked constantly, violent, viciously by these, from the river to the sea, that these kids don't even know what river, what sea. It's they're just bored. The reason they're doing this is because they're bored. It's a society. It's a culture now where people need to be part of something. Nobody has an individual sense of anything anymore. But the reason that they're getting braver and braver and doing all of this stuff is because they are allowed to. I don't understand how we don't utilize the simplest form to, stop this, the spiral of society going into the crapper. It's very simple. When these protesters, look, I am a protester. People get bored of me saying this longer than any of you.
Anybody, I've been out there, and I get arrested so many times, probably more than any other besides Curtis. But I never have gotten beaten. I never had a problem, not a scar, not a tight handcuff, and it's because I obeyed the laws. I step over that line, and then it's, okay, here I am, and I know what to do and what not to do. But once you become violent or destructive. That is where it ends. The authorities should do exactly what that person is doing. If that person is throwing something at a cop, that's got to be returned to squash it. I'm sorry, not necessarily throw something, but squash it, use force. Keyword is force. And then you punish them. Yet the other day, I walk into CVS to pick up my dad's scripts, and I said, let me get some toothpaste for my new chiclets here, my new teeth. And I go, and it's all locked up.
Locked up, yeah.
It's locked up.
Yeah. And then, when you hit the button, God bless these people to come over and actually open the locked case. Sometimes it'll take them, they're like one row away, like a half hour. I swear to God. Half hour.
Dude, I wound up coming back to my apartment. My girlfriend always has a stock of everything, but I couldn't find it, so I just pulled one out of the garbage that was left, squeezed it, cut it with a pair of scissors to scrape it out. But it's true. I don't have time. I have no patience. I'm probably like you. We have no time. I'm not waiting. I just want to. Anyway, so this is, and remember now, it's where were these protesters? Now, again, that's the simplest way to squash this. Just punish the crime that is committed. That's it. That's all you have to do, and you will see a lot less of this. None of this was happening when Obama did this, and Obama did it worse. Remember when Trump was the first time around, and all those videos came out in the media of these poor kids separated in cages, and they went crazy, and then they found out that video was from where? From the Obama administration.
That's right.
Remember that?
Yeah, no, he was the one who put kids in cages. He deported a heck of a lot more people than President Trump has.
Yes. And where were they? Where are they? They're never there. There's nothing new. This just goes to show you, I know these protesters. We see them all the time. Catch one of them alone. It's different when they're all together. They're animal. Catch one of them alone. They are nothing but a hummingbird's vagina. That's all they are. I don't care how big they are, how geared up. They're nothing but a hummingbird's vagina.
Do hummingbirds actually have vaginas?
I don't know, but it sounds great.
So. Yeah, it was very, very funny. I'm just, will somebody call Dr. Mark?
So. Somebody find out. Now I'm curious, yeah.
It was funny, a hummingbird's vagina. God, I love that. Tell me in the next couple of minutes, too, about this Great American State Fair in Washington, D.C., which you're going to be a part of, which I love because, and I say this even when you're not here. I talk about you almost every day on this show. You're the most patriotic American I know. You cry when you see a vet. You cry when you hear the Star-Spangled Banner. You cry when somebody burns a flag. So I am thrilled that you're a part of this. Tell me more about it.
Yeah, it took a while. I'm a little rough around the edges, so a lot of people are afraid of me. But I guess some people finally realize, okay, this is the guy. We got to have him part of this. So this is the Great American State Fair. This is like the World's Fair of America. And it's nuts. I'm going to be painting the biggest painting live every day for 3 weeks straight. I will be there.
Wow.
In my pavilion, they have my own setup. It's going to be huge. I just spent $6,000 prepping this canvas that I've never painted this big. It's going to be detailed. I'm going to be live doing it. I'm going to have all my other work there. But I want to tap into this whole thing where you heard the news that some of these artists, musicians are backing out because it's political, it's conservative.
Right. So President Trump is considering doing a long speech by himself instead of all the celebrities and singers that backed out.
Right. But I'm trying to get them back in. Look, I am a conservative political artist activist, but I am going there with zero political artwork. They didn't tell me not to do it. I said I am only bringing what my life is mainly about, which is promoting America and that American flag and the meaning of it through the power of art. And that's all I'm doing. I'm not talking Trump. Obviously, if people talk to me, but that's it. So I need these hummingbird vaginas to stop being hummingbird vaginas and get with the program. This is about America, your contribution, your musical contribution to America, regardless of your political ideology. This is the effing moment where we all come together. I don't like the politics that this person helped me set up, but we're here for one reason, to celebrate America.
Amen.
So get your little wussies back in line and be part of this, because 80,000 people a day are going to come through for 3 weeks.
What does it start? What's the first day, Scott?
The 24th. Trump opens it up on the 24th. Remember, it's Trump. Trump is the president. If Biden was the president, I would still be at this thing, ecstatic, crazy excited. He opens up the ceremony, and then it's just going to be, it's everything. Fireworks, music, bands, Ferris wheels. It's people made in America, art, culture. This is the World Fair of America in the history of this country. So everybody just calm down and get back in the game.
Congratulations, man. This is awesome. I'm really happy that you're a part of this. You just, like I just said, you deserve to be a part of it more than anybody else. So this was a great hit, Scott LoBaido, and I'm really pumped up for you, man. I can't wait to see your work, too. That's going to be great. Thank you, Scott. Another great appearance. Thank you so much. There he goes, the hummingbird vagina himself. Well, not him. He's not that. That's a funny. Hey, could you see if that exists, Justin, and then put that picture on my Instagram page, okay?
A hummingbird vagina?
Yeah, if it exists, yeah.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Okay, thank you. What a heck of a
We'll get that in my browser history at work. That's a good one.
That's a heck of a show, guys. What a heck of a show today, huh? Wasn't that fun? And
I see they do not have.
They don't have one?
Yeah.
What a bummer. Okay.
Hummingbirds do not have a vagina.
Well, he's an artist. He can paint one, can't he?
Yeah,
He's an
of
artist.
course. Well, it's art.
Right.
You interpret it the way you like.
Yeah, you
to.
take liberties with that.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
You take
you can
liberties.
have an ant's vagina or a hummingbird. Just think of the whole animal
Yes.
kingdom. That's it.
Yes.
Crazy.
Lou, we're done. You were tremendous today. I love you. That was a lot of fun today. As always, Lou Rufino, Justin Ellick. Amazing job today. Noam Layden, John Terrett. Corey Selnick checks in. He's also a season ticket holder for the Knicks. He's right down there with Spike Lee, Schirripa, who was great on this show today, Ben Stiller, all those guys.
Thanks for listening to Sid and Friends in the Morning. You can hear Sid and Friends in the Morning weekday mornings at 6. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
One summer moment can change a child's life. Through Toys for Tots Give and Go initiative, your support provides books, games, toys, and outdoor adventures that spark curiosity, creativity, and a love of nature. Whether it's fishing, learning a new sport, reading under a tree, or playing with friends, these moments build confidence and lifelong memories. For too many children, those moments never come. You can help change that this summer. Visit toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots, delivering hope beyond the holidays.